All right. We might have switched to this screen instead of that screen because I wanted an excuse to hear the music. Because I really like this. I think this is my favorite song in the game. It's the most memorable. It's the one that, like, moved me to silence, which is really pretty remarkable for music that kind of functions as background in a way. Yes, the horns welcome you home. In a way, yes, they do. So before we dive on into the game, we can talk a little bit. Are you all right with like a little bit of one of these? Just a little bit of chatting? Yes, it's disco time, Jessen. No, so I got asked a question on YouTube, and I do read all of the comments I get unless I can tell that they're full of spoilers, and then I try not to read them. I do my best. No, somebody wanted, they prompted me, they're like, maybe this is how you can start next stream, and I was like, oh, you're probably right. Um, so, so somebody asked me a question kind of about role playing and how I approach playing Ocelot. I know that we know his name is Harry at this point, unless there's some big complicated thing and there's going to be a giant reveal that his name isn't actually Harry. Har har har, gotcha. Which could happen and could even be really interesting and compelling if they do it right. But for the time being, I'm going to operate under the assumption that his name is Harry Dubois, just like we've been told. But I'm also going to continue to call him Ocelot. Because I'm used to it by now. Because we've been calling him Ocelot for several months, damn it. And it's a habit now. No, so somebody was asking kind of because the Everett conversation went a little differently than I expected, and I think a little differently than other people expected. And I talked about this towards the end, I think, of last stream, that it's interesting how well matched as opposites Joyce and Everard are, and they really did a great job. So like kind of like one is like your like psychological opponent and the other one is your physical opponent. Really interesting stuff. But because this game is like a Rorschach test, I don't know how you're supposed to say that. That's a thing that I've pretty much read in books, but you know what I'm talking about. The inkblot tests to determine your own like mindset. Rorschach. Oh, wait, isn't that a character in... Oh, that is a character in that. And there's a movie of it, which I haven't seen. I've only read the comic. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, well, you all know what I'm trying to say. Watchmen. That's it. Yes. It's so great. I can just kind of babble incoherently, and you're able to pick up the pieces of what I'm trying to say and give me the information that I need or that I wanted to communicate. Yeah, so it's like an inkblot test. Rorschach test. Where a lot about you as a person gets revealed through the choices that you make, the way things respond to you, etc., etc. It's really interesting. And so the way that I interacted with Everard kind of made me think a bit more about myself and how I approach characters and this game and stuff. So what I'm trying to get at, let's see if I can find the right thread to start this conversation with. There's kind of two things. One about role playing, because the person was saying, I noticed when you were talking to Everett, there seemed to be more separation between you and Ocelot, where you were trying to figure out what you could do to defend him, whereas sometimes it seems like you make the decision that you want to make. And like the truthful answer is if you try to apply a predictable pattern to my behavior and my choices for either Lauren is role-playing or Lauren is only playing as herself, picking the answer she wants, you will not find a satisfying pattern because there is not actually an answer to that question. If there were to be like a binary or even whatever it's not tertiary because that's a third tier, but that like, you know, more than a binary. Even so, if there were strict, discrete options, I still wouldn't fall into them because I'm not Is trinary a word? It seems like it should be etymologically, like breaking that down. Like it seems like that makes sense. Etymologically is not the word I want, but you know what I mean. It is a word. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Blues. No, tertiary has a different meaning. Tertiary pairs with secondary. I'm trying to pair something with binary. See. But no, what I'm trying to get at is I don't have a philosophy or a way of playing this game. Like there's not like this is the path I'm gonna role play, because I don't role play in video games. I don't find role playing in video games to be very satisfying in general, so I don't generally like doing it. And I don't have a good sense for characters when I start off the bat. So I don't know, like, kind of like what's in character if they do have a predetermined personality. So I don't know if it's necessarily a stimulus response scenario. It's just kind of like, what do I feel like in the moment? Is that what a stimulus response scenario is? Because if so, then yes, that. But I wasn't. So Joyce was battling me, the player, from my perspective. Joyce is trying to strategically line things up so that she can get what she wants out of Ocelot. And I'm trying to strategically read what she's doing and anticipate it and counteract that less than I should have. And also trying to see if I can understand her and manipulate her to try to get her to expose what I want to get. Show me her glowing weak point. And so that's part of why Joyce took 2 weeks to play through. Everard wasn't going after me. Everard and Lauren were not really engaged in battle. Everard was doing damage to Ocelot, and I was attempting to protect Ocelot from Everard or minimize damage. And that's a different situation. And part of it, I think, is kind of intrinsic to the Everard fight because, like, and yes, it is a defense mode versus offense mode, but it's also, like, the way things happen. There is literally nothing that I can brain my way through. I can't brain my way into Ocelot not being hurt by certain things. Like, you know, it doesn't matter whether I've solved the puzzle or not. If Ocelot's taking damage, Ocelot's taking damage, which is not really the way things work with choice. But one of the things that I've also thought about is that obviously Everard as a fight, like he feels like he's the brute force battle, and I'm not as good at that. I'm much more into, like, let me psychoanalyze this character and try to overthink everything. And he's not really that. Like, I came up with a strategy of sorts of what I thought the strategy against him might be. But I couldn't commit to that because it was a riskier thing than I was willing to do. Because trying to live up to that strategy meant potentially setting Ocelot up and committing him to things that I don't think that either he or I would be comfortable with, basically. Coming across as corrupt, which the game knows you're probably not going to want to take, at least on your first playthrough, unless you're kind of save scumming. I feel like if you kind of put some degree of corruption out there, then you could maybe get Everard to lower his guard, or at least not attack you as much because he thinks he's already got you. And maybe that would allow you to get more out of that, like, in the long run. But even if that is the strategy, because it kind of makes sense to me, for that to be the strategy, I can't execute it. So I suppose in a way, actually, Everard was, if that is actually the strategy, which do not confirm or deny if that's the proper strategy to use against Everard in that boss fight. But if that is correct, then I suppose Everard is also strong to Lauren and Lauren is weak to Everard, because I can't bring myself to do that. Because I can't emotionally disconnect myself from the character and the world enough to live with doing that. If it doesn't plan out, like, if there was a way that I could set that up but also cue to Kim, I'm doing this to try to get on Everett's good side, I don't actually mean it. If I had that degree of control and interaction with people in the game, I might have been able to do it. But otherwise I'm not. I can't make decisions like that. So the boys are at it. They're letting me know that I've taken too long to talk. Wait, why is this the nighttime music? No, it can't be. It must be weather that makes it so dark. But yeah, does that make sense? Does any of this make sense? Is it interesting? I don't know. Another thing is simply that I've kind of been thinking about this, and I might talk about it more at another time. But I've been kind of realizing that like my people skills are all learned, if that makes sense. I don't have an intuitive strength with people, but I find people very interesting and always have, and also had to learn to read people and try to keep them happy and try to avoid their various landmines from a young age. And so the end result of that is that I have amassed a pretty hefty knowledge of people. And I know what tells to look for, and I can pick up on really, really small details sometimes, especially if they're like conversational things. I'm trying to, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I have an encyclopedia in my head. I have a thing that my brain can now cross-reference with my knowledge of people, and I have expectations and things. But if people are outside of what I have a frame of reference for, I don't have the intuitive understanding of people to be able to do that right. Because I don't know how they're going to respond if I haven't cataloged something equivalent. So you put certain characters in front of me and I can just take them apart. Joyce is really good at what she does, and I underestimated how she would play kind of as a fight in the game in a way. But I get Joyce, and I know generally what to do with Joyce. And I feel like I could do all right with Joyce if you put me against her in the real world, where I could get the information that I need in some ways. But I don't have a frame of reference. I mentioned this when I was talking to Kuno, that I don't, like, there's certain things with him that I could figure out, but a lot of him was outside of my experience. So I was like, I'm just kind of fumbling through the dark and hoping that something that I know that's kind of similar to him will work. And then just Evrart is completely outside of anything that I know or have skills in. So I don't know if that answers the question at all. I feel like I just did a terrible job of just like dumping a big messy pile of thoughts, just like empty the junk drawer, and it's more tangled than usual. But there's my junk drawer, the junk drawer of my brain. So are we going to role play out as Ocelot sometimes? Am I going to try to gamify the things with Lauren, trying to maximize the benefit of the situation so that I get the result that I want? Sometimes. Am I going to just kind of fly by the seat of my pants and clown shoes or whatever seems interesting? Sometimes. Is that going to make for a less consistent, cohesive experience? Probably. But I am what I am, and as much as Disco Elysium really gives me a lot of puzzles that I enjoy, it's very much made by people who are really different from me. And so I'm never going to quite be the right player for it. And that's okay. I'm not gonna S rank the playing of it, and I'm not really trying to. You know, I kind of expect more out of myself when it comes to playing a Toby Fox game, because I feel like he and I have a lot in common with how we think about characters, and the stories we want to tell, and how we think about people and the world. And so I feel like I get that on a gut level, but I don't really here with this game. I don't. I really admire it as a work, but it is, if we're gonna say like people and things can like have like similar colored souls, so to speak, this game and my soul are not the same color. They may be like roughly in the same family, but I think I've said that before. But yeah, so it's not that I don't have personal interaction with crime bosses. It's Everett's personality type, and people like him. I have not cataloged people that have overlap with him in real life. Since he's not in my bestiary, I don't know what his weaknesses are. And I stayed on topic with him because there was nothing else for me to talk about in a way. I talked about the things that I talked about, but there wasn't much. I didn't know. I maybe I need Goombella to tattle on him. I don't know, but he's an interesting character, and it's an interesting scenario. It's an interesting contrast with Joyce. It's an interesting conflict for Ocelot, but it's not I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I'm not used to that. So that's that. That's my ramble. But I'm actually a little self-conscious about how long that ramble was. Well, I have some idea of Joyce's because, yeah, I sat down to talk to Joyce and I knew I could kind of figure it out. That's why I was like piecing things apart. And sometimes I didn't understand what the response that I was going to give as Ocelot meant because I don't understand the writers of the game enough to be able to read their minds. But I kind of knew what I was trying to do with Joyce because I kind of know what to make of her. Because I know people like Joyce. I know manipulative, charming, charismatic people from upper middle class to upper class backgrounds. I know where their trauma tends to come from. I know what motivates them. I know what they're afraid of on some general level, and I know how to get them to reveal the specifics. So, yeah, no, rhetoric and I have a lot, and like I can do well with rhetoric, but I don't. There's a lot that I don't get, like Ocelot's dialogue, and a lot of other things. So, it's not, and this is not in any way a complaint against Everett as a character or as a component in the story or gameplay, because I think he's very well done and it's very good, and I think that what happened was very well done. It's just interesting how much less there was for me to work with him. Also, because Ocelot was taking damage, that motivated me to get out of there. If Joyce had been causing psychological damage or physical damage to Ocelot, maybe I would have also fled from her and not had as much to say, but I think they're very different experiences, and I don't know what to make of Everett. And I wonder if there are players who walk into Everett and are like, oh, got this. But I'm not one of them. So this time around, I want to talk to other people. I want to talk to people on the street who I haven't talked to before, and I also want to talk to people that I have talked to see how much their dialogue changes, if that makes sense. I'm going to move this camera a little bit here. All right. Because I have to think about what am I going to do each stream, and I have to try to set myself a goal so that I'm actually moving forward progress. Otherwise, we'll just amble around forever. All right, so working class woman. You see a sturdy woman humming to herself. She seems to be browsing books. So I can either make conversation with her and say a good one and point at the book, or I can say hello, no ceremonies, just hello. All right. In this case, I think that my read on role-playing Ocelot and my inclinations as Lauren coincide, perhaps because of the way that I've built Ocelot. We're gonna make conversation, because we gotta.
Yes? Hello?
She nods, her attention fully focused on reading. She does not care about me. I only have one option here, which means that I failed to get something else. I should probably go over my clothes and make sure I'm wearing the right clothes to talk to people in. All right, so I can ask her, who are you? She's going to get really annoyed that I'm interrupting her book.
Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
All right. She looks up briefly. She does not want to talk to me. Now, if I were Lauren in this situation, I might try one more thing, because people with books and I'm like, oh yes, book people. I like book people. I will talk to book people. And then I would say, okay, this conversation is clearly I'm imposing on this person. This person is making it clear that they do not want to speak with me, and I would walk away. Ocelot is a cop trying to investigate a murder. So that's a big thing. And also, he is not the most socially apt person always. I don't play him consistently, though. He's not a consistent character. He doesn't have a consistent personality for me to play. Because I don't, it just doesn't, role-playing characters and things like this is just, I can't do it. It just doesn't work for me. So.
She doesn't really want to be disturbed that much.
Okay, empathy is also letting me know what I picked up on. Thank you, empathy.
If she's such a working class woman, why isn't she working?
Because she has the day off, because it's her lunchtime. Like, who knows? Logic. So I can either ask her, shouldn't a working class woman be working? Or I can say, what are you doing? I think I'm going to ask one more time, which she's probably not going to like. But I did say I would give it one more try. Oh, is the game volume a bit quiet? I can turn it up. Sorry about that. Just in time for the trumpet. What are you doing?
Looking for something to read.
She reverts her attention to a worn-out paperback. So I can either say phenomenal, good, nod, or I can say I'm a policeman. Okay, I'm going to nod at her because that doesn't seem to be judgmental or sarcastic, which I think phenomenal is. I'm a policeman. Let's see. Yeah, no, I'm gonna say good and nod at her.
It is.
Okay, so I can either say I'm a policeman or leave. It's actually, he is a cop investigating a murder, so I should actually, and this is not just me indulging my curiosity, which is what usually happens when I try talking to people. He has a motivation. So again, I would walk away at this point. I would be like, man, I hope you find the perfect book. Have a good day, ma'am. But Ocelot needs to investigate a murder, so we're gonna do that. I'm a policeman.
I know you are.
I can say good then, or I can say, do you need the help of a policeman? I can leave. I really don't think this conversation is gonna go very far. Because like saying a thing like that should open up, can I ask you a few questions? That's the reason why you say that. But do you need the help of a policeman is a really weird thing to ask somebody. I'm a flute player. I am a flute player. I have my flute over there. I will record some flute, play some flute another time. Let's see. But saying like good then is kind of like saying I'm just letting you know that I'm important, just so you know. Which doesn't seem like it goes anywhere. Sure, let's see if there's anything I can help with. Let's be nosy and bad with people, but well-intentioned. Can I help you? Can I help you? Do you need help? Is there anything I can help with? Somebody please have something I can do to be useful so I can stop hating myself. We're gonna go with that.
What with?
So I can say maybe your husband is missing. Watch her browse books. Or that's all for the moment. I'll let you read. Okay, she's trying hard to focus on the book stand. Martin, thank you for subscribing. Welcome. Thank you for following. All right, let's watch her browse books for a moment, and she's gonna get uncomfortable, and I should probably let her be. Am I a flaunting flautist? See, I prefer the word flutist to flautist because I think it makes more sense and both are actually technically correct. If I call myself, no, excuse me, I'm a flautist, makes me feel pretentious. But I'm a flutist. I play flute. I'm a flute. I am a flute. I'm the living embodiment of flute. All right, let's watch her browse books for a minute. She's going to get creeped. Oh, no, I'm going to let her read. That's all for the moment. I'll let you read.
The woman before you nods and returns to her reading.
I wonder, do I have like a book that I can ask? No. That's probably not something I should go around showing her. I am the flute. All right. I'm gonna let her be for now. Because to me, she's signaled really, really clearly that she wants me to leave her alone. Yes, May, exactly. Excellent. Oh, yeah, let's go up and talk to... Oh, wait, this guy right here. There's more people. I knew that there was a person that used to... That guy, I think, used to be down here. And I remembered that he was around, but is that... Can I... No. Okay. I just have to check. I love that I have my... I should probably not be holding that. All I built with my bare hands. You a self-made man? Doesn't really exist. Let us talk to this fella. I'm scum, just a scummy old scum. I don't deserve her, I don't deserve anybody. Oh, buddy! Shit ain't nothing to me. I make my own way, it's all. Always have, always will. They don't know me. No one knows me. I work hard, I play hard. Nobody works harder. It's hard, you know. It's just so hard sometimes. Okay, now he's looping. Alright, so this guy continues to not be somebody you can talk to, really. Let's see what our old men are up to. Now that I've actually got some of Gaston's handiwork on me. Alright, Rene, what's nice? No. What's up?
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabiner do for you?
Oh, look at that! I can ask him about some stuff. I can... Oh man, I don't think I'd be able to... Yeah, no. I cannot impress him with my heroics. My heroics are 17%. Okay, I saw the statue of Philippe the Third near the roundabout. Yes, let's see if we can get him to talk more about stuff. So it turns out that their overarching conversation trees still exist. But as you do more and see more, you could potentially unlock more dialogue options with them. So we'll do that. Let's see. See what he has to say about the statue.
Ah, yes. King Philip the Third on his steed. A reminder of what Revachol once was.
I know he's a monarchist, but it is really funny to contrast his enthusiasm with everything that we read about that statue.
Oh, absolutely. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold.
Exactly. This is a lot of opinion from Gaston. He smiled as if reliving a pleasant memory. Renee's gonna get really mad.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone who knows how to rule.
He just ignores him. That is a valid choice, I suppose. Alright. How should a true king rule?
Decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood.
Okay. Seems to me a leader should take care of his people before himself, is one answer. Or, powerful leaders, not afraid to do what must be done. That's what this country needs. Or, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm gonna pick the answer that I think is the right answer here, and I'm gonna say, seems to me a leader should take care of his people before himself. If I write, like, a monarch figure in any fictional thing, and a lot of people, if they write, like, a prince or a king or a princess or a queen or whatever, they will make them be like, I am a servant to my people, because that's kind of what you have to do to make them sympathetic to people with our modern sensibilities. All right, let's pick that answer.
Elysium is only as strong as its leader. That's why it was such madness to try to...
Is Gaston gonna cut him off?
Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened.
There's some weariness in his voice. Oh, there's some weariness in his voice now. He's heard this rant many times before.
The carabiner doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve.
Yet he does work for the Union. I mean, you've got to work the job you've got to work, but...
No one and nothing can change this man's mind. He is as rigid as they come, still in that antique uniform. It's a symbol for him.
Thank you, Volition. I can say, what was that about cocaine? Or let's talk about something else. Hopefully this won't lead me down the path of Ocelot doing more drugs. We're trying to keep him clean. But let's see what happens. I figure these old men are probably not going to bust out some cocaine and offer it to me, so I'm probably safe, but... Yeah, so we're going to banish electrochemistry. Not allowed. Electrochemistry. You can get in the trash can with authority. Anyway.
Oh, old Philip was a big fan of the purple nose candy the nobility loved so much. A cocaine connoisseur of sorts. His egocentricity is borderline legendary.
That is amazing. Gaston really does not have respect for this man. Is it purple? Is it purple? I don't seem to have seen it be purple in movies, which is literally my only experience. So, okay, it's not usually purple. Well, maybe that's just establishing that this is another universe we're in. Alright, let's keep going.
You can't even take responsibility for yourself. How could you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler?
Oh, well, of course, it's quite alright that the man did a ton of cocaine because his life was hard because he was in charge of things.
That's why the Philippian kings use cocaine for clarity of vision, to aid in their work. Regnum cocainum, Revishal's finest years.
Oh my god. He is using the fact that the rulers did cocaine as a source of pride. That's really interesting. Wow. Oh, he had artisanal purple cocaine produced just for him. Okay, I forgot about that. I don't remember anything. My brain is like a sieve. Things go right out. It's funny. It's not that it's unbelievable that Rene feels the way he does. It's just that I'm laughing at his expense. He grows taller, brimming with pride about the past.
Of course. Clarity of vision. Awareness.
Kim is laughing at him too. Amazing.
Philip III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court made him administer the dose to his mother when she was in labor, and it is well known that with the help of cocaine, only the purest, of course, he was able to connect with higher realms.
Okay. Alright. Oh man. So I wonder if that means that he is born with an addiction, which I believe can happen and is one of the problems with having an addiction while pregnant.
Higher realms. Of course, it all makes sense.
Of course the Millennium Empire's all excited about that. I didn't say anything. I was good. Alright.
He's just making excuses for the king's habits, isn't he?
Well, yes, obviously he is. Alright. Okay, so what was that about higher realms? Sounds interesting. Or, such responsibility requires a boost every now and then. I sometimes need one too. That's a pretty good clown shoes answer. Seems like irresponsible behavior for a monarch. Drug users shouldn't even operate heavy machinery, much less rule countries. Ask me how I know would be a great answer. Or thanks for clearing that up. I have some other questions now. I'm curious about the higher realms. I want to know what madness there is. I don't know if I read about this, but if I did, I have since forgotten it. So let's ask about that. Why not? Let's see what kind of like psychic revelations were given to the bad king while he was very, very high.
It's really not. Please, do spare us the cocaine fairy tales.
Cocaine fairy tales. That's a thing. It's a category. Okay, now I have to know. Gaston, you can't cut him off. I need to know. What is with the cocaine fairy tales? What a phrase.
Yes, indeed. We're not here to investigate the drug trade of centuries past.
Oh, okay. Fine, Kim. Kim doesn't want me getting all excited about that. He's like, no. It's a bad idea. So maybe I'll have to come back and talk to Rene another time without Kim and be like, so, or not, yeah. So tell me about the drug fairy tales, please. Let's talk about something else.
Right.
All right, I don't have anything else to ask. Okay. Tragically, let us talk to Gaston.
Officer, the mere sight of police in Martinez makes me feel safer already. How can I help you?
Oh, I can't get him to relinquish his sandwich yet. I'm gonna have to get more points in rhetoric. Well, that's okay. We're gonna go... Oh! Let's go talk to this fella again, see if there's anything else he's got to say.
Everything's still cool here, officer.
Oh man. I'm gonna need to put a point in rhetoric eventually so that I can try these things. Thing is, 42% is pretty bad, but I don't know that there's any way that I can make it higher. So I might as well try it. Am I dressed for rhetoric? I don't know that I have any rhetoric clothes. I don't think I've... Oh. Oh, I'm wearing the wrong shirt. Okay, that's better. Okay, if I put the bum hat on, I lose my rhetoric. Suggestion. Speed core. Interfacing. I gotta wear these at all times because I like logic better than authority. Inland Empire, yes, thanks very much. It's the best. This hat's never going anywhere. Yeah, so I don't think I have any clothes for my rhetoric. My rhetoric's actually not that high. It's fine, but it's not nearly one of my highest skills. So it would make sense to put more points in rhetoric, potentially. Let's see. Guaranteed to find something exciting. Let's take another look at what he's got.
You keep coming back. That's good, officer. Keep browsing those clothes. Keep saving that economy.
Okay. Composure. I don't want to buy this itchy pants. Oh, it shows me the stat boosts. Huh. Half-light. These pants are silly. No, I'd have to... Okay. I'm just gonna keep looking through his boxes.
The shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer.
Shades
100%
of...
guarantee.
Shades of self-destruction. Electrochemistry goes up, logic goes down. No thanks. Oh, look at that! I could boost my Inland Empire. That seems like a great idea. I don't think I need that. Alright. Oops, wrong button. There we go. That's it. This right here.
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. The sneakers triumph over them. They're the star of the show here.
Reaction speed and hand-eye coordination. That's really expensive. That would be very useful, I'm sure, but I don't have any money. So, no. Alright. I mean, we might as well do a dice roll and see what happens if I ask this man to give me money. I mean, it might be viewed as taking a bribe. I don't know what he would be bribing me for. But that's why I saved. So in case I'm really uncomfortable with what happens, I can undo it.
Everything's still cool here, officer.
Let's try it. Let's do it. Come on, come on, come on, come on. See how good my rhetoric is. Well, I'm not gonna get it, but we're gonna try it.
Start with a little compliment, then work your way up from there. This is about business, remember.
Oh my god, okay, let's see how this goes. This is not gonna be good. This is gonna count. I'm pretty sure this is gonna count as taking a bribe, which is not ideal. Not ideal at all. Hey, you seem like a really successful entrepreneur. Would you like to support a member of the local police force? Oh god, I don't know if I want to do this, but we're gonna see what happens.
Oh, okay. But why, officer?
The man stops, his face suddenly serious. Oh my god, I'm gonna make him give me protection money. Not even a bribe. This is protection money. That's what this is. I'm rolling for intimidation. Think of it as an investment, is my option here.
An investment? What kind of investment?
Wow. He's intrigued by this. Okay. So I can say, it's an investment in me, a highly experimental human being. My risk-reward ratio is insane. Something about this is insane, that's for sure. 2. I'm a policeman. It's an investment in good relations with the RCM. Or 3. It's an investment in your customer base. Gotta prime the pump, man. This guy is nuts enough. Like, at least he comes across as being, like, kind of, like, in his own, like, little, like, pseudo tech bro entrepreneur sort of world. That one might actually be speaking his language, even though it sounds like absolute nonsense to me. 2 definitely makes this a bribe. Which is not great. 3 is probably not going to work on him. 2 does seem like the one that's more likely to work, because then he will know that he's being threatened to bribe me so that I don't mess with him, but maybe he'll get some benefit if he's bribed me. So I don't like that. Man. I'm not going to choose 2. Because that's bribery and protection money, and that's a path I don't want to go down, especially not with Kim watching. Kim would be like, you've tarnished the good name of the RCM. If you're going to take a bribe, at least make it your own, like, your own fault. At least only sully your own good name. Don't bring the rest of us with you. No, but the thing is, Kim likes and respects the police force. Like, he takes it very seriously. He takes cops very seriously. So, if I were to do something that would kind of tarnish the reputation of the police force, I don't think Kim would like that very much. I think he would dislike it, personally. Maybe this is me, projecting my my biases against corruption and bribery, because we know that he did, he took the spinny wheels, but It doesn't feel like this is something that he would like. I feel like that would be a matter of hypocrisy, personally. I think that Kim would excuse himself taking the spinny wheels and trying to keep the spinny wheels. And I think that he would frown on Ocelot shaking down this street entrepreneur for money, personally. So that's my thought anyway. I do like Kim. I suspect there are going to be some times that I hurt Kim's feelings or win his disapproval on a deeper level than just, oh my god, would you stop being a hot mess, which is his usual reaction to my character. Because Kim is a flawed character, and there are going to be times I think that I disagree with him. He's way too good friends with authority and esprit de corps for us to be completely in alignment. Well, the cops are always asking for people to fund them, like give us money, and like, so it's funny. If you donate money to the cops during their annual cop fundraiser, because they don't have any money, they're severely underfunded, obviously, they will give you like a bumper sticker or a regular sticker to put on the back of your car. So if you get pulled over for a speeding infraction or something like that, and the cop comes around from his car to your front window to tell you that you're in trouble, he will see, or she or they will see the sticker indicating that you have paid the cops. And it's not that that won't factor in to how they treat you, I'm sure. I've never done that myself, but functionally, I would say not literally a bribe, functionally a bribe. There's a difference. If that makes sense. Although I don't know that I would actually necessarily say that bribe is the purpose, or is this the right thing, because it's not it's not like I have to do this to get this thing. It's like a lot of the people that get those tend to be people who believe in the cops anyway, so it's more of a buddy type thing, you know. It's more of a prove, like, this is how you show that you're on our side. Like, give us the money and we'll give you like the colors to show that you're one of us. If that makes sense, which is a little different than bribery, I think. Yeah, it's putting yourself in the in-group. I know, but the thing is the vast majority of people that that get those, I don't think they think to themselves, I'm gonna pay the cops so that I can get the sticker to put in my car, so that they won't get me in trouble if I get pulled over. I don't think that that is the intent behind it most of the time. I think most of the time people give money to the cops because they are in alignment with the cops, and then the cops recognize that they are in alignment with the cops and they are in the in-group and gives them a sticker that indicates, like, you are our friends. That's the... And so functionally speaking, do they get benefit because they give money to the cops? Presumably. I don't know, because I've never been in that situation and I've never seen any studies that show, like, I don't know if anyone's done any studies of, like, can we prove that people who have I support the cops stickers on their, you know, on their bumper or their back windshield or whatever, get more lenience when they're pulled over than other people. Like, I don't know that anyone's ever studied that. So I can't say for sure whether it actually does that or not. It just seems like it would, because we know that the cops are very, very focused on the in-group. And that is definitely a big motivator for them. And so I think that there will be some benefit. And I think that's, I don't know. But I don't think that people set out to say, I need to protect myself from speeding tickets, so I will give to the cops during their donation time. Very often. I don't think that's the majority of it. maybe it's different in other countries. I don't know. Again, my only experience with this is in the United States. So you may have a different experience in the country where you live. All right. What am I going to say to this man? I'm once again stalling because it's easier for me to talk about these things than it is for me to make choices in the video game that will result in consequences. Consequences. Let's see. What am I going to choose? What am I going to choose? I really don't feel comfortable asking him for a bribe. I have to choose one of these options, though. I don't have a maybe I won't. Like, there's not like a maybe I don't. See, there's not a no thanks. Actually, I won't do this. Probably not 2. 3 and 1 are both clown shoes answers. So how do you get me to pick a clown shoes answer? By making the alternative authority. I will choose clown shoes over authority. I won't say any day because there are definitely circumstances in which that wouldn't be the case. But 3 is like, if you pay me now, I can pay you more later, which I don't know that I want. I think I'm probably gonna go with 1 because it's funny. And I don't know, man. I don't know that any of these answers are ones that I'm comfortable with. So, and I think that a risk-reward ratio, maybe that's enough entrepreneur speak to get him on board. I'd be like, it's a top secret project or something like that. Which could be the case. For all I know, it could be the case. I don't know. Maybe Ocelot is actually part of some weird scientific experiment, and that is why everything is done like we're viewing things in a weird alternate universe microfiche display. Alright, so let's go with 1. It's an investment in me. A highly experimental human being. My risk-reward ratio is insane. How's that for clown shoes? I think that's pretty clown shoes. Folks are like, why don't you pick clown shoes answers, Lauren? Well, it's clown shoes o'clock.
I guess it can't be any riskier than speculating in exotic derivatives. How much are we talking about here?
Amazing. It worked. It worked. Incredible. I spoke entrepreneur speak. So I can ask for 5 real, which I think would be almost enough to put me over the edge. Or 10 real, which would definitely let me afford a place to stay tonight. Which is exciting. And then the other option is 1 million real, which no, we're gonna actually see if we can, because if I'm like, give me money because I'm crazy and weird and you never know what'll happen, and the guy's like, sure, I'll give you $10. Like, that's fine. That's fine. I don't want the itchy evil pants. I want something that makes me talk real good. No, I could use, I would be happy to get a rhetoric something or other. Let's see. Oh, and there's books. That's true. There's books. Yeah, I might go with 10 because that seems like, because that would be enough to make it so that I could actually definitively afford a place to stay for the night, which apparently the flag didn't flip to tell me that I need to stay in the Whirling in Rags tonight. But I know that I need to stay in the Whirling in Rags tonight. Well, and I don't actually have a very strong sense of how much money that is in the world. Like, I know that if I sell my postcards, it's like a fifth of a real. So, and like the really expensive shoes are 50 real. Most things that are used are like, I mean, there's a lot of things that are being used. I'm trying to think if it's like, because I feel like 10 shouldn't be 10 wouldn't be too much. Putting in the context of like, it's a fifth of the expensive shoes. It's 4 terrible sunglasses. Because I'm like, what is that like? Is that going to be like $30, $40 when I think about that, where I'm like, oh, that is enough money? Because if somebody's like, give me $5, I don't think too much about it. If somebody says, give me $10, I still don't think too much about it. But if somebody were to be like, give me $30, I might think about that. So I'm not sure. I'm inclined to say 10 real because that's what I would need to be sure that I have a place to stay. Well, I just know that the postcards are one of the things that I have that I could sell for money in the pawn shop. That's one of the things that I have. Yeah, like, I feel like 10 isn't that bad, so I'm gonna go with 10, and we'll see. You know, Siileng could decide that that is an unreasonable amount to ask for, and that's fine. That's valid. That's valid. Perhaps investing in my experimental ocelot is not worth 10 real, and you know, who am I to argue with that? Let's go with 10 real.
10 real is a bargain for that kind of investment. You got it, my man.
How did that work? How did, because like, so at this point, this is not a bribe. This is not protection money. This is weird entrepreneurship. And Kim can't get mad at that. I mean, he can get mad at that if he really wants to. But I can imagine him just being like, oh my god, you guys are both... What is wrong with you? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I don't have to worry about where you're going to stay tonight, so that's fine. Amazing. All right. Thank you. All right. Yeah, no, like he's weird and I'm weird and we're both weird. And I can afford a place to stay tonight. Oh, that's so exciting. That's so exciting. I'm excited. Are you excited? Are you excited, folks? You thought you were gonna have to worry about me. But then it was okay. Good. I'm glad you're relieved. I'm clear of the soft lock unless somebody mugs me. Which would be most unfortunate. Let's go see. Is he open? I guess it's almost noon. Alright, let's see what's up. Hello, Roy.
again. How can I help you?
I've got nothing else to ask him, unfortunate. Okay, well, we'll eventually get that information. Don't think there's anything else new here. Don't want to sell any of my things because you never know when you might need them. All right, you know, I can go give that money right now. I can go pay my place to stay and ask for the key to the dumpster. Yeah. Oh, I can also do a call. There's all these little things to do. Oh no, look at that. We're split up. No, tragedy. All right, let's go do this. But we're not gonna talk to this woman who I now suspect. I think the gardener is the one who went to law school. Because of the way that she got called out, and she's clearly important. Alright, Garte.
Can I help you?
Oh my god. Amazing, Zulily. Can I have the key to the dumpster? I'm not even gonna sleep in it. I have money. That's perfect. Amazing. Alright. Okay, about my bill for tonight.
Got the 20 real?
Yes, I've got 20 real for the night.
Good. You got the room for the night, but remember, you'll need another 20 real tomorrow.
Alright, we'll see what's up. We'll see if I'm able to make that happen. I got experience though, so that's gotta be worth something. So is that trash container out back yours?
Mine? No, it belongs to the Whirling in Rags.
You know what I mean, dum-dum.
Thank you for clearing that up. Why do you keep the container locked?
Kim is just like, okay, yes, of course, obviously. Probably so that there's not dumpster diving because there's children that look like they'll get into trouble.
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why. And the neighbors too. They put their trash there and they don't pay for the garbage company.
My mom would overfill her recycling bin, so she would put her recycling in her neighbor's recycling bins. Anyway, eventually she wound up having to get a second recycling bin. Oh, my mom. I love my mom. She's silly. Yes. No, who amongst us has not noticed an apartment building's dumpster and been like, I have a big thing I need to get rid of, and then brought the thing you need to get rid of to the apartment building's dumpster in the dead of night? Come on. I have definitely done that. Oh no, she did not ask. She just like stuck some stuff and she's like, well, they tend to have enough room. They don't recycle as much as I do. Theirs is only ever half full. So I'll put some recycling in there. Oh man, excellent. I haven't actually dumpster dived. There's too many problems with bugs in Toronto for that, especially. But I have definitely picked up things that people have left on the sidewalk in other cities that don't have bug problems. So. All right.
I thought as much. And are you the only party with access to the trash container?
Kim is so professional. He's so businesslike. Yeah, no. Having to pay for trash. It's interesting because then you can pay less each month if you have a smaller bin. I've heard, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but I've heard that in Germany they will like weigh the different amount of trash, organic trash and recycling or something, and if you throw away too much trash, they'll fine you to try to encourage you to recycle and reuse and compost things. Whereas like I'm just excited as an American moving to Canada. I'm just excited that we have green bins, that there is a composting program in the city. Like that's wild to me. Because when I lived in Texas, it wasn't guaranteed that a place that I lived was going to have recycling as an option. When I lived in Austin, there were a few places I lived that I had to drive downtown on the weekend and put all of my recycling sorted into their big recycling bins there that are absolutely swarmed by bees. It was very exciting. So yeah.
Well, yes. Us and the garbage disposal company.
Garte, are you trying? Like, he's so particular. It's funny.
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you.
What, callous that he locks the trash so that nobody can dumpster dive? Let's see. No, it wasn't necessarily nest in the cardboard. It's that like there's still like bits of food sometimes in some of the packaging, I think. Even if people try to clean it. So in the middle of the summer, it gets rather Oh, is it wasps? It might be wasps instead of bees. I'm not a big fan of, and I tried not to let them get that close to me. My general policy was to be as far away from them. No, I got stung by a wasp when I was a little kid, and I was terrified of flying stingy insects for a long time. And now I don't have the same fear reaction that I used to, but I definitely prefer to keep a big distance. No, I can tell the difference between a wasp and a bee, but A, this was 8 or 9 years ago, and B, I try to avoid the creatures instead of investigating them. So. Okay, Canadians use bees and wasps interchangeably. Oh, well, that'll be exciting. I think of them as quite different creatures. Hasn't come up yet. Bees generally don't try to sting you unless they absolutely have to, because their stinger gets implanted in you and they die. Not every kind of bee, but a lot of kinds of bees function that way. Whereas wasps can generally sting you repeatedly, and they're little jerks. I don't like them. Oh man, I really don't like wasps. But I steer clear of stingy creatures, if at all possible. They're cool and all, they're interesting, but I don't want to have anything to do with them. I think that's pretty normal. The thing is, geese won't sneak up on you. And chances are, if a goose attacks you, you've had opportunities to get away. Whereas, like, wasps will sneak up on you and you won't even realize that there's a wasp, and you'll turn and the wasp will take that as a declaration of war and sting you. So I would say that wasps are worse than geese. Like, geese are definitely agents of chaos. No question, geese are agents of chaos, but I feel like you're less likely to actually get physically harmed by a goose than you are a wasp. So I'm curious about this callousness. I wonder, this like not allowing people into your trash bin. I think that's what this is. And I'm curious if this is some sort of like compassion, frustration on behalf of people. Whether it turns out that Ocelot has the potential to get worked up on behalf of the common person's access to dumpster diving. It's a human right, don't you know? Let us investigate. Let's see what Rhetoric has to say. Dangerous. I wonder, what is this feeling? This feeling inside.
Prod at him and find out.
Oh, he's not gonna like this. Oh, Garte is not the person to no. This is a man who is absolutely fixated on his own life and his own terrible suffering. The indignities of his life are just beyond comprehension. He is not a person who thinks about other people very much. Like, that is, I'm sorry, but like, it's the way he seems very, very like navel-gazy, self-fixated. Yes, Wicked has some fantastic music. I really appreciate its music. Plus, it was great because at the time that it came out, there were really not a lot of duets between women in musical theater that passed the Bechdel test. Oh, man. All right. Do I want to engage in a battle of compassion? Doesn't it seem callous to you, guarding even your leftovers from the poor? Yeah, let's do this. Let us stir up Ocelot's compassion.
Callous? What are you, Kras Mazov? Almost all establishments in Revachol keep their trash locked. The whirling in rags is not special in that regard.
Krasmazov. I'm pretty sure that that's not how that's supposed to be said. And I'm trying to remember where I've heard that term before, because I know I have heard it before. My failing brain is able to recognize that, but it doesn't. Yes, Chrono, you may remind me, but only tell me what I already know. Please, be careful. Everybody else, leave this one to Chrono. For now. A famous communist. Okay. Was he in the pamphlet? Oh, he's Karl Marx! Oh, of course he's Karl Marx! He's even got the same initials! I'm never gonna forget that. I mean, I might, but honestly, mnemonic devices work pretty well, even with my faulty memory. It's just you cannot commit your entire memory to memory with mnemonic devices. It doesn't work that way. Ah! Alright, he's this universe's Karl Marx. Okay, that makes sense. I saw something online where somebody was getting mad about Biden and accusing him of being a Marxist, and I was just like, oh my god. Politics. Good times. Yeah, no, I'm sure that the name being in some way reminiscent of Karl Marx is no accident here. Yes, that is correct, Chrono. Alright. I love that my answers are maybe I am. Because I would expect it to be more like either like cross or cross Mazov or something like that. Mazov. Oh, I think it should be ov, right? That should be a long O sound, I feel. Anyway, I'm not good at pronouncing other languages and names from cultures outside of my experience, tragically. And even if you tell me how to pronounce it, I'll probably forget. Well, I suspect that Garte is pronouncing it incorrectly, and I'm pretty sure that's not how it was pronounced the last time I heard it. But I did see something recently that was very inconsistent between the characters and how they pronounce names, so it happens. Okay, Garte did say it wrong. Alright. So I can say maybe I am Karl Marx. Or I'm no Karl Marx. Maybe I am. You don't know. I don't know. This whole Harry Dubois thing could be... Like I said, I'm still open to the possibility that there's going to actually be a gotcha moment where it turns out that that's not actually my character's name. It could happen. Mazovianism. Okay, interesting. Well, language. Maybe I am him.
What are we talking about? Was this not about the trash container?
See, like, okay, so in another game, in a different story, maybe I am this political figure. Would not be taken literally, you know? It could be like, yes, I might as well be. Like, do you dare challenge my ideals? But in the case of Detective Ocelot here, he means it literally. He can say, what if I am him? Which is really funny, because this is the only game I've ever played where that sort of thing could be interpreted that way. And I figured, with the question mark at the end, I figured that that was where Ocelot would go with it. He's a very cool guy. Yes, Ocelot is a super cool guy. He's disco, baby. Oh man. I was looking for like 70s era fonts for something that I was designing for work today. And they're all like a bunch of them that are named disco things, and I was like, Ocelot. Sorry. I think I'm funny. I was really amused. All right. Let's return to that. I think. Kim is trying to cut me off before I go to Clown Shoes. Let's let him cut me off before I go to Clown Shoes.
Was there something you wanted?
We need those keys.
What for? Mazov? Are you planning to nationalize my trash container?
As if I said no to this, he wouldn't have said this. That's so clever.
It concerns the case. Please cooperate.
Kim is like, please, no more of this ridiculousness.
Just bring them back once you're done, please.
All right. Maybe this is the door. Maybe this is the door that Everett wants open. Everett just really, really wants to dumpster dive so badly. And he needs my help. He needs my help to hook him up with his dumpster diving habit. And if I befriend him, the way to do it is going to be by unlocking all of the dumpsters in the entirety of Revachol. And then you get an achievement. Dumpster diving hero. And Everett shows up and he high-fives you. And then you dumpster dive together and you find cool matching hats. And you wear those hats as a sign of your true friendship. They should definitely let me write this game. Dumpster disco, yes. Amazing. Does that count as Inland Empire? Did I just unleash my Inland Empire in the least cool of ways? I think I did. Man. Good times. Aren't you glad you're here? Okay. Let us dumpster dive. Hello, child. Oh, I need to talk to this child. Okay, we're gonna save. Be like, Kuno, kid. You lied to me.
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, whirling in rags.
So if I broke it open, then presumably I would have liberated it. Tool not equipped. Yeah, that's okay. Physical instrument is not a thing that I have points in. I don't know that I would ever have a Disco Elysium fic in me, unfortunately. I just don't think that I think Disco Elysium enough to be able to Disco Elysium. You know? Thank you, Gandhi, but dumpsters of the world. All you have to lose is your padlocks. Let's open the padlock with the key, shall we?
With a well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. It should now be possible to simply raise the lid.
All right, I hope I don't take physical damage from this. I hope I don't just die because of the, like, odor.
Don't. Maybe you shouldn't.
Because see, it should now be possible to simply raise the lid, ... feels really ominous. So Inland Empire and I are both on the same page. We're like, is something wrong? Didn't I just have a premonition that there's something in there? Did I? I don't know. Let's see. This is probably going to set me up for psychic damage. But I've already taken psychic damage today. So, like, why not? Full speed ahead.
There is, but you won't like it. Sweat forms on your brow. Your hand is still on the lid.
I'm pretty sure that I could have just opened this and not taken psychic damage, but I've primed myself for the psychic damage. Oh! Oh no! Oh no! I must have hidden something in there. I must have hidden something in there as a drunken ocelot out of his mind. And Kim is going to see it, and I'm going to take psychic damage. That's going to happen. Are you ready? Are you prepared for some psychic damage again? I think it's time. Alright.
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
Okay. I got experience. Oh, I got levels. Sweet. I leveled up from opening the trash. See, my destiny to be dumpster disco. I mean, I got a level up of a refrigerator and a level up of a dumpster. I feel like this game is trying to say something to me. Amazing. Oh my god, next level is gonna be from a toilet. It could be. Okay, look. When I was a small child, I tried playing Leisure Suit Larry, like one of the Atari ST Leisure Suit Larrys, and definitely died by flushing the toilet and drowning by flooding the entire bathroom. So I have a healthy respect for the capacity of toilets in adventure games to cause you a horrible, horrible fate. Oh man, yeah. Because I was like 4 or 5 playing it with my sister who's a couple of years older than me, and we like had no idea what anything was. These days, if you try playing the game, so they ask you questions to try to like age lock it, but obviously it's been like 40 years. So like even people who are well past the age of Leisure Suit Larry will have no idea what the answers are. Yeah. Man. I told you I know Sierra games, okay? I have been playing Sierra games. I have been exposed to Sierra games since before I could read. I grew up with them. Like, the royal family of Daventry have been an important part of my life since I was a very small child. Just saying. Oh, don't drink the toilet water, especially in Fallout. That's like radioactive toilet water. Nobody wants that. That's like the only thing worse than regular toilet water. All right. Well, let us see what Ocelot is so scared about.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
That's probably bad news. Okay, so I can look under the boxes of carton, pick at the rags, search the food waste, or close the lid. Let us look under the boxes of carton. There's going to be something bad in here besides the stinkiness. I don't know what, but...
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar.
Okay, so... an egg rest with one broken egg in it. Terminology check, since we have international folks. I think this is referring to what I know of as an egg carton, which is usually, these days, mostly a cardboard-ish package, but they used to be styrofoam. But I wonder, where do they call it egg rest? And why is it egg rest? Is an egg rest when it's only the bottom half? Because, like, you rest your egg in it? Whereas, like, an egg carton closes. But if you can't close your carton, it's not really a carton, maybe. I don't know. Is anybody familiar with egg rest? Because if not, I'm going to hope that somebody watching this... okay, so it is only the lower half. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm glad to know. So, the only time in US-Canada experience that I have... no, not a fancy egg stand. It's basically the thing at the bottom. It's like the bottom half of a... So if you buy like 3 dozen eggs at one go, it'll be like in a pallet, and the pallet only has like the bottom things, and then it's open on top. And I suspect that an egg rest is like that, but not specifically to a giant package of eggs. So, that I have to be able to properly envision the trash. Also, I'm just like irresistibly fascinated by language differences and cultural differences, and this game, streaming it, is an opportunity that I have for, like, I can ask people who are in other parts of the world and have other experiences and speak other languages or other versions of the same language, and I can get my questions answered. It's very exciting. Very exciting. So, egg rest. Okay. It's like the bottom half of an egg carton. I've seen those before. All right. I've clearly dumpster dived before. Dumpster dove? I'm pretty sure dumpster dived because it's a compound verb, but you can disagree with me on that.
A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below, and turbo noodles. Nothing of note, however.
I want to comment on one little pronunciation thing that I think is funny. Okay, so usually when I think of the letter A between generalized American English and generalized British English, with the understanding that both of those categories have a number of accents within them that have sometimes great variation, but kind of averaged out, taken as a whole, generalized. I tend to think of Americans as having more of an eh, and British as having more of an ah. It's funny because between the North and the South in the US, there's also a difference with, like, there's more ah up north and more eh down south, which is funny because then you have the word pecan down south and pecan up north, which, based on my understanding of the accents in question, as somebody who grew up in Pecan Nation, Texas, and then has hung out with my aunt making pecan pies in New Jersey, I've thought about this and listened to it a lot. Like, it bothers me. It bothers me that it's pecan up north and pecan down south. That feels backwards. I don't know why it is that way. It bugs me. It is the inverse of how the eh versus ah is supposed to be. We have before us another example. If I am talking about the usually flour-based, usually these days dried noodles that one puts in water and then cooks with sauce, I pronounce that word pasta. But apparently our actor here says pasta, which seems the inverse of what I would expect, because again, usually I think of British English as being more ah, and I think of American English as being more eh. So that's funny to me. I think that's really funny. You may not be as amused as I am, but I am. Okay, so it is pecan in the Carolinas? Really? Okay. Because in Texas, it's pecan. And in New Jersey, my aunt would say pecan. And I was just like, why is this happening? I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, as I said, there's regional variations. But I've looked it up. And it is interesting. I used to proofread audiobooks, so like listening and making sure things are pronounced right, and I would have to check Merriam-Webster if it was a more US based reader, and I'd have to check I think it was the Cambridge Dictionary if it was a more British-ish reader. Yeah, see, I think of Tennessee and the Carolinas as the South, and I thought that they were pecan too, because I actually lived in North Carolina when I was little, but I also don't trust my memory to be quite correct on that. So, okay, Gandhi has a pecan in New England and New York. Okay, that checks out with my experience there. And when I talk about the North, usually that's what I talk about. It's a regional dialect. A regional pronunciation, you mean? What is the distinction here? I should probably continue the game instead of bringing everything to a screeching halt. It is the South! Okay, so pecan is the South. It is a Southern thing. But, like, pecans are a Southern thing, generally. And apparently pecan pie is a Southern thing, which I think is funny because my very, very, very Yankee side of the family makes a pecan pie every Thanksgiving. So Texas is on the border? Oh, really? Okay. That's interesting. Because we have a lot of them in Texas. In fact, when I was really homesick for Texas, when I first moved to Pennsylvania, one of my bandmates sent me a basket shaped like Texas filled with pecans. And I was like, that is very Texan. Texas isn't the South, but it's Southern. I don't know if that's true of Florida. I know that Florida is also not the South; it's Florida. But I feel like it's more Southern than not Southern. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. This is a long tangent. The pecans themselves are not shaped like Texas, no. But all right. Yeah, and Southwest is different, but Texas isn't Southwest. Texas is Texas. All right. Let's pick at the rags.
Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers.
New pants, new pants, new pants! Dumpster diving! Very exciting. Grab them.
As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air.
Oh no. That's bad.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay.
That's definitely not dumpster pants. I don't want that.
Drop them in here, officer.
The lieutenant produces a black plastic bag marked evidence from his pocket. Oh, good. I'm glad that he's prepared for this. All right, let's bag the trousers.
Guitar marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The loops appear stretched, but...
He looks into the container. So he's searching. Okay, so guitar mark blue jeans. I assume that is some sort of an indication about the texture or pattern or something. So we're going to look for the belt. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for somebody else having a belt they shouldn't have, maybe. Interesting.
The belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I have another bag here.
We'll find out.
Something slimy catches your eye.
I'm going to grab it. This is going to be awful. Are you ready? Buckle up, folks. We're going to reach for it. It's going to be really gross, and I'm going to take mental damage.
A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus.
Appetizing. Bag the shirt.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario. Anything more?
I mean, that checks out with the scab leader being a military man. If this guy was also a military man who is disguising himself as not a military man, and then they found out that he was a military man and killed him. All right, let's see what's up.
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug that catches your eye. But other than that...
A thrown out towel, a mug, that's all.
All right. We should go to Garte again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force.
Kim does not think that I should ask Kuno about this. All right. So I can say, yeah, we need to ask the kids who put them here. Or you think someone from the whirling might have been involved, maybe? I mean, if the only people who have a key are the management of the Whirling in Rags and the garbage people. That does indicate that somebody was probably involved there. Either one of the garbage people or somebody from the Whirling in Rags. So you think someone from the Whirling might have been involved, maybe? Let's ask that. I'm curious.
Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked, and his establishment had the key. It's just a small loose thread.
Let's ask the kids who put them here.
The fuck's he on about? Kids? You hear that, Kuno? He thinks you're an infant or something.
She's trying to stir him up again.
See?
Oh, yeah. Okay, proceed.
The lieutenant nods, then looks back into the trash container.
Okay, I'm gonna search the food waste just in case.
It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and potato peels, mostly. Unidentified sludge, and the occasional chicken bone thrown in for good measure. But hey,
I hope I didn't actually kill this dude, and so I have this memory about being the one to throw stuff in there.
nothing. It's nothing. Nothing more to see here.
Is that so, Inland Empire? That mean, okay, so usually Inland Empire exists to give you fanciful thoughts. The fact that Inland Empire is telling you that there is nothing here, that it is giving you the opposite of a fanciful thought, means that the nothingness is itself a fanciful thought. Inland Empire is trying to use its imagination to protect you from what you see.
What's this?
Trash container. Alright, what is it?
A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something.
Alright, I have 3 morale boosters. Let's pick it out.
Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes. Written in a man's handwriting.
As if you can tell for sure. There's no inherent gender to handwriting. There's just the way people are socialized to learn to write based on expectations. All right. This is not what I expected. I thought it might be some sort of drug paraphernalia or something else that was blackmail-y. Whose blue plastic clipboard is this? Is it mine? I definitely seem to be nervous about it, so let's find out.
Officer, is that your paperwork?
It is mine. Either no, it can't be, or I don't know what this is. I'm gonna say I don't know what this is, because that's true. This is a Nile. This is a statement of truth that I don't know. I'm gonna get in some trouble. Kim sounds absolutely like just disbelieving. Like, did you throw away your paperwork? Like, Kim, you can't be surprised. Now, admittedly, I had the prompt of my brain letting me know that there was going to be something here, and Kim did not, in fact, have the prompt of my brain letting him know that there was going to be something here. So maybe that's why he can't have. You can't expect him to have expected something. So I don't know what this is. And yes, you can know that it's a man's handwriting if you recognize it as your own handwriting, and you are a man. I guess that works. I don't know what this is.
It is. Look, the plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form in there.
A miserable looking slip of paper sticks to the board. Hey, I got a secret thing. I got points for a secret goal. Good job. Good job, Ocelot. The RCM street grid. Oh, does that mean that I'm going to have a map? Hell yeah. I mean, I'm going to take psychic damage, but I might have a map. A disgusting, rotting map, but eh.
If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash?
Either it must have been cramping my style, or it has a foreboding quality to it. Maybe I needed to lose it for the great bloodletting to begin. Or I think I didn't want to be a cop anymore, so I threw it away. Or someone from the Whirling threw it in the trash, I don't know. I'm boring. Which actually sounds like a cover. Or I'd rather not to talk about it right now. That's a typo. It should be I'd rather not talk about it. That makes me think that an earlier draft of this said I don't want to talk about it right now, which is actually a more assertive way of saying this line. I'd rather is a little more like polite and stepping back instead of I don't want to. All right. So we don't know what the Great Bloodletting is. Presumably that's got something to do with my drugging myself out of my mind. And that is a very dramatic, slightly clown's choosy answer. I think, and one is like, whatever, I'm completely unaffected by this, doesn't matter. It was cramping my style, and I'm stylish. I'm disco. Which is not the way that I'm playing Ocelot, but that is consistently an option that he has with dialogue. I think 3 is the answer I'm going to have to pick. I mean, I think more specifically, I think that Ocelot thought he was a failure, and so he threw it away. Which is interesting. Why go through the trouble of throwing it away before trying to drink yourself to death? Like, was this in a way a protective measure? How did he get in here to put stuff in? I mean, maybe he just had it in, he put it in the regular trash and it got tossed out here by the whirling. Yes, we are digging through some garbage. That is true. Because I mean, I guess he must have thrown it in a regular trash bin that got emptied into here. Because I don't think he would have had access to this. But it is still very interesting to have taken the step of throwing that stuff away. I mean, he was probably very drunk and not thinking clearly. And I'm sure it was very symbolic. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with, I think I didn't want to be a cop anymore, so I threw it away. We're going to go with that. Because he also left his jacket. He lost the big jacket, the cloak that he's got on. Like, he seems to have, like, tried to get rid of all of his detectiveness. I'm curious. I'm very curious. I suppose we'll eventually find out more about what went on the night of the Great Bloodletting, if that's what he calls it. Well, not really bloodletting. Thing is, okay, bloodletting is not the same as just like cutting. It's more of a like a very old, like archaic medical terminology that well, but see, like, putting your tie somewhere or putting your jacket somewhere, you're not going to get in trouble for that. That doesn't make you a failure. Throwing away your autopsy report is, like, it's an action you're not supposed to do, and also it reflects your failure to have done what you were supposed to do. But so the Great Bloodletting is it's interesting terminology, because bloodletting is kind of like when they would like use like leeches and stuff, or like they try to be like, oh, clearly the reason why you're unwell is because there is something bad in your blood, so we will bloodlet to let some of that badness out, I think was the logic behind it. So it's like it has to hurt if it's to heal sort of philosophy. But I don't know that his drinking a whole lot was meant to be a healing thing. And yes, I did quote The Neverending Story. I do that on the regular. I love that movie very much. And the book, I need to reread it. All right, let us... I think I didn't want to be a cop anymore, so I threw it away.
Well...
He doesn't know what to say.
His eyes express a rare condolence. Then he picks it up.
So he knows that this is like, he understands that this is an expression of pain instead of, I'm not insulting the Force here.
Lucky we found it. You should take stock of what remains, just to be sure some has not made it into the hands of the RCM's adversaries. Organized crime and the like. There might have been police secrets in your notes.
Yeah, that's concerning. So I can either say, okay, I'll do that. I can say nothing. Or I can say, I don't know, man. Sounds like an order. I don't take those. You could really play an interesting... See, the thing is, the dialogue options like that feel more in line with the character as we know him prior to our intervention. And so my failure to choose those dialogue options feels like I'm going against character. I'm going against role playing. But I'm not interested in playing a person like that. So I'm not. Also because I'm trying to help this man get his life together. So he's got an angel on his shoulder doing her goddamn best to fix what she can, you know? Okay, so it's more about the humors. The humors sure were. People have thought some really weird things in the name of science, and I'm sure in 150, 200 years, or 500 years, or whatever, they're going to think the same thing about our current society. So I'll say, okay, I'll do that.
It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Now, tell me what your eagle eyes see. Or are we finished?
See, when he says the eagle eyes, I really, really like this. I like, that I feel is a line that I received because I was able to make some sense of the footprints in the, like, on the ground underneath the body. And I think there've probably been a few other things. So Kim has picked up on the fact that Ocelot does have this very heightened skill, this observational skill.
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory and select the Interact tab to read your paperwork.
Okay, I guess I'm going to do that. All right, the mug. I'm getting that mug too. Let's see. Let's grab the mug. Why not? I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but maybe it'll be useful. Let's get this bright yellow mug, or Kim will be weirded out. Kim, we're dumpster diving.
You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in saffron.
Ah! Okay, the reason why you might not pick it up is because it's racist. Oh my god. I said I didn't want to get mugged. That's true, and here I am getting mugged, or perhaps choosing not to get mugged. Okay, well, I could either take the mug or I can say an antique, question mark.
Only in its social sensibility.
I don't want the mug. Alright, I guess I'm gonna get the mug. I guess I have no choice but to take the mug.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's bad. I don't want the mug. I don't want the mug. Kim is going to be mad at me for taking that mug. The lieutenant briefly glances at the mug, then returns his sight to the trash.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
Good sound effect.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
I have the option to open the lid again, but I'm not going to. Oh, what is my observation?
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your Copotype.
Okay, fortunately we can continue playing the game. We had a slight error that popped up. I don't know what that error was, but we got it. Well, we're saved. Okay, so they know my Copotype. Let us find out what my Copotype is. That's true, there are racists in the vicinity. Which could affect how people treat us, so. Alright. So wait, there are Copotypes?
Yes. Guess what's yours?
Okay. Cool cop? Some kind of weapon cop? Sorry cop? I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Or, I'm sorry you had to monitor me. Apologetic cop is my cop type. I've definitely noticed I'm pretty sure that the conversation with Everett referenced that at some point, and they've set me up to have to apologize in 2 times because they know that I'm going to pick one of those because that's what I've been picking because I've been playing Ocelot, who is sad that he's a mess and sad that Kim doesn't approve of him. So let's see. Because they know I'm not going to pick Cool Cop. Then they know I'm not going to pick Weapon Cop. So I'm going to go with Sorry Cop. I think Sorry Cop is the kind of cop I am. As opposed to just straight up apologizing, I'm going to apologize but also identify myself as the apology cop. Obviously.
Yes, sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we?
I know what I am. It's okay if you think that it's bad in game. I used to apologize to people who would get upset with me for apologizing too much. I once dated somebody who apologized more than I did, and people would get really frustrated listening to the two of us apologize to each other. So it's great. It's great. All right. But yes, that was definitely set up with the expectation that, like, you're going to pick the answer that is the truthful one with the way you've played the game so far.
Huge lack of enthusiasm going on in here.
Thanks, empathy. Okay, but what are the other Copotypes? Won't the other Copotypes be jealous? I can say, I'm sorry, I can opt in. I can say, I'm not sorry, and then they should be sorry. Okay, I'm going to say, what are the other Copotypes?
Oh, you know. Apocalypse, Superstellar, the Advanced Interesting Cop, Liquid Shadow Cop. But you're too sorry to say those things. So, here we go.
I want to be the Advanced Interesting Cop. That sounds cool. And less deranged. Like, Superstellar doesn't sound real. Apocalypse sounds deranged. I'm pretty sure I've seen options that could have potentially gotten me that. I want to be the Advanced Interesting Cop. I want to be the Advanced Interesting Lauren. That sounds like a really good... Like, wouldn't it be cool to be able to put on your business card, Advanced Interesting Lauren, TM? Oh my god. Revolver Ocelot and Liquid Shadow Cop. Oh my god. Liquid Shadow Ocelot. Amazing. Well, I'm glad to know that we're all on a Metal Gear Solid page here. Alright. Won't the other Copotypes be jealous?
What? Jealous of the sorry cop? I think they'll be fine. Don't worry.
Thanks. Great.
They'll be super, super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual Copotype from sorry to anything.
Amazing! Yes, alright, I'm gonna have to dual class. That's really important. Oh, man. Do I want to opt in? I love that the way that you can opt in says I'm sorry. That says it should be. Thing is, I would say that sorry cop doesn't fully encompass what I want to do playing as him, but it is accurate. But there's other stuff that I want to dig more into with him and have him kind of grow and evolve in the way that he responds to things as he presumably gets more confident. So I said I don't roleplay him, or at least I don't roleplay him consistently, but I have definitely chosen dialogue options because it seemed to me that after the circumstances that had just preceded my dialogue option, he would be a kind of like sad, balling up into himself kind of person. So it made sense. And, you know, Kim calling him out in the middle of his failure, he could either lash out or he could lash in. And I opted to have him lash in instead of lashing out, which it gives you the option to lash out. But I don't know. It's interesting stuff. I could be a sorry barbarian. Or sorbarian. Oh my god. So like sorbet. Can I get free sorbet anytime I want to? I would like that. That's pretty good. I don't know that Lauren has barbarian class like potential. I could have sorry class potential. I definitely could. Also, fun fact, that's the clearest giveaway of my Canadian heritage right there in that one word. What country are you from, Lauren? You're clearly not American. How long ago did you move to Texas? Oh, you know, I lived there for 30 years. Thanks, Mom. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'll opt in. I will accept my fate. We're gonna do it. Sorry, sir. Oh my god, May. May! That's so bad! It's excellent. Well done. I feel like we need to have an emote. That is the emote that we share when somebody does a terrible pun. I think that we need that. We'll come up with an idea eventually. Because that was a really good one. Alright, let's opt in. Let's be sorry.
Of course you are. It's okay. See if you can get something out of this. Like info. Or maybe every time you say you're sorry, you'd get $1 million.
No, just give me a nickel every time I say I'm sorry, and we won't have any problems with rent. Well, like, there's not a universal Canadian accent, but you can kind of generalize that the, like, mainstream general, like, averaged out Canadian accent does say sorry that way in some way. It's like the word about, like, you do get more or less of the scoop in different dialects, or not different dialects, different accents in Canada. But sorry is not generally sorry. I can't, you notice how weird it is when I say sorry? It doesn't sound right. Because that's not how I've ever said that word. But that, so it was interesting. The first time I started spending a lot of time in Ontario, Southern Ontario, is the first time I'd ever been around, like, a lot of people who said the same vowels I said. And I hadn't realized that was a thing that I needed in order to feel, like, comfortable. Like, it was a thing that I'd always been missing without knowing that I'd been missing it until I had it. And I was like, oh, I sound like these people and these people sound like me. Huh. That's interesting. It's the only place in my life that anyone's ever thought I was a local. Even when I literally never lived in Canada and was just visiting for, like, the third or fourth time in my life. Oh, you're from Texas? How long ago did you move down there? Well, so the thing is, specific words that I learned in the US, like, encountering them as I grew up, I tend to pronounce in an American way. But, like, default language vocabulary that I would have grown up hearing from my mom on an everyday level, that's the Canadianism. And then I have a few idioms and sayings and things that I thought were just weird things my mom said, but then it turns out that they're just really common here. Like the phrase shit disturber. That's Canadian. I just thought it was a weird thing my mom said because all of my American friends, like, my entire life were like, I mean, I know I can guess what that means, but I've never heard it before. And then I come here and everyone's like, well, yeah, everyone says that. And I'm like, really? Are you sure? Wild.
That won't happen.
Yes, logic. I know. Logic has to tell me I'm not going to make money that way. I know. All right. Well, that's cool. Great. All right. What have I got? Items. Oh, interact. Hold on. We're going to save. We're going to save before we look at our notes. I think that's probably a good idea. Inventory. Interact. Oh my god. I have the yellow man mug. Great. This broken-eared mug. Sorry, my camera's in the way. I'm going to have to scoot you guys over there. This broken-eared mug somehow made its way into the Whirling in Rags dumpster. It depicts a person of Samaran descent frolicking in a field of saffron flowers, buck-toothed and grinning feeble-mindedly. It seems to be a cheap knockoff of some colonial-era antique. Okay, so knowing about colonial eras being present in this timeline or universe, that's something we didn't know before. Let us see how terrible this interact is. This might be really bad. Let's find out.
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Not much.
I'm kind of afraid about this because I'm kind of afraid this is going to go into grossness. I'm hoping that I'll be able to shut down the grossness, but I will load my save if this goes in directions that I'm uncomfortable with. So let's look at all that content. I'll see. There's quite a lot to read into here, actually. Look at all that content.
Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage?
Wow, there are some good answers here. Okay, this is really... Okay. Either this mug is an example of prejudice. I'm going to use it as an example of what not to do. I'm going to push this in the face of every merchant I find and tell them this is your inane ideology. Or, this mug will be useful. By denouncing it, I can earn political capital to mask my badass hustling, i.e. fraud and embezzlement. Or, the mug didn't belong in the trash. It was just a funny mug. Can't anyone laugh anymore? That's really funny. That's really funny. because that is absolutely something that people say all the time in our real world. The Facebook uncle answer. Yeah, that is a good way of putting it. I literally do not understand what 2 is trying to communicate. Whose inane ideology is it? Putting racist garbage on something? Is that a thing that merchants do? Or am I going to be accusing merchants of being this stereotype? Or what? I don't understand. There is some underlying sentiment behind 2 that I lack. And therefore it is nonsense to me. Because I literally can't see. You can tell me that it's the communism answer, and I don't understand. I have no way of knowing what that is. There's a connection being made that requires several steps to point out to me. Capitalism is racist and exploitative. Okay. Capitalists exploit racism to sell product. Okay. I suppose I don't know. I think because that is one that I'm just like, oh, okay, all right, I'll have to take your word for it. You don't have to worry about me taking that, choosing that answer. One is the sort of thing that people make fun of, but frankly, yes, actually, an example of the fact that you can still sell this sort of thing, that it is a reproduction rather than an actual antique, I think is an important reminder that, you know, racism isn't over and is still, unfortunately, prevalent enough that it can be a viable strategy to sell product. And it's an important reminder because so many people tend to say, oh, racism is over. I don't see color. But this shit's still going on, even if they say that and don't want to believe that it still exists. So having the existence of this mug is an important reminder of that. So I would say that 1 is definitely the one that I'm going to gravitate towards. And the game is going to make fun of me for it. And I'm going to reject that by saying that instead of making fun of that argument, you're making fun of almost a straw man version. The thing is, like, I know that there are people who are very fixated on being seen and heard saying the right things like that. But to me, that's what 3 is going after. No, I did not say the mug is an example of capitalism as an inane ideology. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying that it is a reminder of the prevalence of racism in society, which is a different point. Different priority. Because, again, I'm not a communist, so I'm not going to pick the communist answers or gravitate towards those or prioritize that. I'm personally more invested in focusing on racism, for example, even though, like I say, like, I hate capitalism, but I'm not a communist. I have not taken that step, and I'm not sure I'm going to. I actually find it very off-putting. The more I encounter it, the less comfortable I am with it. I think I'll stay outside of ideologies with sacred texts. Thanks. Go ahead and call me spineless. 3 is interesting. The mug will be useful. By denouncing it, I can earn political capital to mask my badass hustling, fraud, and embezzlement. Is like the most cynical of all of these options. It's even more cynical than 4, which is a very, like, mundane evil, you know? Whereas, like, 3 is a more intentional and self-aware evil. So I'm gonna have to go with 1 because from my perspective, that's the only answer that makes any sense. Also, perhaps that will remove the mug's ability to force my hand so that my character has no choice but to take racist actions. So we'll see what happens. This mug is an example of prejudice. The thing is, like, I already know how the game is going to make fun of me for this, but that's fine.
But it was in the trash. Why not just call it out when you see it? Or do some volunteering work. Just finish your case, detective.
I assume that this is here to make you have, or to give you the option to unlock wackadoodle things. If you want to go wackadoodle land. That was the moralist answer. Maybe so. Maybe so. Well, that's fine. That makes it... Oh, I got healed because it was the moralist answer. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. No, I would say that it seems unhealthy to keep a thing like that around, because my concern would be that somebody else might see it in your possession and be harmed by it. So don't keep that unless you've, like, clearly, visibly, in some way defaced it in such a way as to strip away its power. And even then, I don't think that you're the right person to do it if you're doing this on behalf of someone else. If that makes sense, that's a little bit weird. Okay, well, I didn't need the heal, but I got the heal. Okay. Well, I probably should have done these in the reverse order, because the damage ledger is probably going to damage me. Well, that's okay. We can always do that if we need to. All right, this is the ledger you found in the trash. It's full of notes written in a man's dense cursive. That's interesting. My handwriting is a dense cursive. Have a closer look. Maybe it can be salvaged to start keeping notes on the case. I love the banana peel. The presence of the banana peel and the these plastic rings, which you should really cut so that they don't kill sea creatures. Let us interact with it.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Oh, do they say urinal? And is that the British pronunciation of that word? I'm used to urinal was the pronunciation in at least American English, like mainstream American English pronunciations. Interesting. Okay. It is really funny because you think you know the spelling differences, you think you know the pronunciation differences, and then you encounter there's a lot more that you didn't realize that are more than just a slight shift in, like, the ah versus ah sound. It's interesting. All right. Anything else? Let's do this.
There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard.
Excellent. Good.
It's a metaphor for you.
That's very clever. Am I about to take psychic damage?
Below the pathetics, terror. Do not look into its blue heart.
Inland Empire's really freaked out about this. Smell the ledger. Why would I do that? Let's inspect the clip.
An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip.
Do not run your finger across it. You will get cut, and I do not have any health. That is a bad idea. Because those things can be sharp if they're cheaply made. You can absolutely cut yourself on things like that. I have done it before. Because I will absolutely run my fingers across things like that. Because I am an idiot who can't sit still sometimes. All right, let's not do that.
A bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand.
All
It's
right.
a sorry sight.
Browse the white papers.
They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol, and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered, with faint red lines, forming short paragraphs.
Okay, so this is one of those things where it's very poetically phrased, but it's a little unclear what it actually means. So when they say ink escapes into watercolor patterns, and they've talked about there being alcohol involved, I wonder whether, because when I think about ink becoming watercolor, I think about a water stain on the ink. Like basically moisture on the ink makes it blur and you know what I'm talking about. Like when you spill water on a non-waterproof pen, like or on non-waterproof ink on a page, it's going to bloom, it's going to be hard to see. So that's what I assume this is saying, but I don't know for sure. It may just be talking about how messy the handwriting is. The paper itself is checkered with faint red lines forming short paragraphs. So I assume that that means that it's the paper that's divided into a grid, and then it has red lines every so often on the grid, dividing it up into sections, which makes it easier to make isolated, like, bite-sized bits. So I'm guessing that's what they mean.
Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
So the illegibility, because like the illegibility is presumably because of water damage, but it could also be because I was drunk at the time I wrote it. Because it is interesting that he has a lot of notes. He certainly wrote down a lot. We'll see whether it has anything to do with the case or police work ever. What is in there? What are they about? Let's see if we can figure that much out.
Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases undertaken, not completed, mind you.
How interesting. So his writing style is presumably the same as what we see in his thought cabinet. So the odd naming convention is most likely, my guess is, referencing the ridiculousness with which he names the thoughts in his thought cabinet. That's internal. That is him. That is, you know, it's that's not like a meta name. That is the way that Harry writes notes about his cases, which is interesting. Which, I mean, it makes sense. It comes from within his brain, but still, like, you don't necessarily assume that connection. 20, maybe 30 cases back to January. I don't know. I don't remember what month we're in right now. April?
It's the middle of March. You have attempted 2 cases a week on average.
Okay. Thank you, logic. I was close. Okay. There's mention of a naming convention here. So I really want to have that confirmed if that's what it is.
Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, most are accompanied by a name.
Robust yet literary makes sense.
A title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from snoop fiction and vespertine cop show staples.
Amazing. Oh my. And they're written in capital letters too.
Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable Case.
Square bullet hole murders. That's interesting. More?
Others appear more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the Ukar parlor. Even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder features prominently throughout.
Okay, that's apparently what I do.
It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting them up close.
Is 2 cases a week a good caseload, Lieutenant?
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes.
2 cases a week appears to have been my load, Lieutenant. I'm not sure I completed them, though. I'm going to tell him this. I think he deserves to know, because I think that's going to affect something about the way we work together, the work that we do, or something. I don't know.
2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me.
He's so polite about not wanting to hurt another cop's feelings unnecessarily. And he can be polite and conscientious and compassionate towards other people. It's just not as much a given if they're not in his in-group. Because I honestly, I want to know whether they put an outrageous amount of work on Ocelot and doomed him to failure, or whether he took too much work on himself to try to distract himself from problems in his personal life. He'll throw himself into work, but unfortunately you can't do that if you're in an altered state and not able to function. So, yes, no, Kim is surprised by this workload. This is not a normal or healthy workload. So it's either the other people put too much on Ocelot, or Ocelot took on more than he should have. The other people should not have let him if it was really that unreasonable. So I'm curious about this, because we know that his... Hold on, I think my cat is yelling. Sophie? No? Okay. All right. Well. I was saying, oh, yeah, his precinct does show a degree of compassion and concern for him, and that they do want to take care of him. They are worried about him. But they treat him like garbage. So, like, they don't want harm to come to him, but I don't know that they would actually protect him from a bad situation either. You know, like, it's complicated, which is very human, and I think that's a good thing. That's a good characterization. So I'm sure I made plenty of mistakes, or I burned out all right, or a nice brisk pace, the way I like it. Like, no, but that may be what he told people. The thing is, though, I mean, I'm sure that they have more cases than they have people to take on. But if they want things to be done right, they have the authority, potentially, to say, no, you can't take this on. Maybe. I don't know. So either I'm sure I made plenty of mistakes, or I burned out all right. That is for sure. Let's see. Both of these feel like they're saying something similar, so I kind of have to figure out what the difference is so I know which nuance I want to go with. Like, this is like reassuring him that he's correct and no harm has been taken. And this is more like, this actually feels more self-deprecating almost. I don't know. I'm gonna go with I burned out all right. That sounds right.
That's okay. We all do, sooner or later.
Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
Let's see. Kim, my cases appear to employ some kind of naming convention. He'll probably tell me that that's normal, that cops have to do that sort of thing in order to like manage the stress of the job. Because I bet Ocelot can't be the only person who names things like they're like Nancy Drew novels, you know? Or Hardy Boys or whatever. They can't be. Not in this universe. Probably in the real world too. Let's be real. All right, let's see what Kim has to say about this. I don't think that Kim will actually think this is weird or judge me. He'll be like, no, that's normal. I think. That's my expectation. Let's find out.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene?
That's the one. Lie. Or, no, I mean a non-numeric one with titles. I mean, I also have the alphanumeric one, but...
Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM does.
Yeah, so I figured this is normal. This is going to be a moment of cop bonding with Kim. Why is that?
It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves.
Interesting. See, I don't know that I would say that this is specifically because the organization didn't have a system to do things. I think this is just straight up human, personally. Maybe because I'm a person who names things a lot. And so I gravitate towards this and I'm like, oh yes, obviously it makes sense. If I were a detective, I would probably give a nickname to all of my cases like they were Nancy Drew novels. I mean, I have to try to name these YouTube videos, so it does seem to make sense. It's very human. People respond to stories and they associate things with stories, not lists of facts. So I seem to have named a case the Square Bullet Hole Murders. I'm sorry, I think that's worth bringing up, and I think that Kim will be okay with this. Amnesiac Cop Simulator. Yes, it is it is indeed that.
Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself.
I mean, it's kind of awful, but I'm glad that Kim is like, yes, this is a real person. It is human. This is a tragedy, but I still did this thing. I'm glad that we're bonding over this. This is cute.
I pray his loved ones never find out.
Yeah. But the thing is that this is the kind of gallows humor that people who deal with things like this actually do. People who are in like any sort of like emergency response, medical professionals who deal with emergencies. There's a certain degree of gallows humor that's, I think, pretty common in order to be able to survive the horrors of what's happening. So I don't judge people who are trying to fix things for having a humor like this. But also, yes, probably this man's loved ones should never find out. And I'm glad that Kim is aware of that. To me, like, that's kind of what makes it okay, is that Kim is like, I have this gallows humor to cope with a tough situation, but it's not appropriate outside of this. Yeah, like, I'm not surprised surgeons making terrible jokes. Like, it's a really stressful environment. Coping humor? Coping humor? I see what you did there. What happened to him?
Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
Wow. That's rough. That is rough. But also, companies and corporations generally don't value your life or put enough focus on safety as much as they should. They only do what they're required to. All right. Count the pages. I have to open an official case. Is there room?
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish.
Ah, see, this reflects our, like, gameplay setup. That's how we keep track of things. So it's all as though it's Ocelot's notes. It's just that Ocelot didn't have those notes when we started. So.
Once all the tasks are accomplished, the case is complete.
Commit to paper.
Sadly, the ledger only comes with an old, worn-down lead pencil. It's unfitting of this monumental event.
Thanks, conceptualization. So I can either ask Kim if he has a pen, or say I'll use the pencil. Kim, do you have a pen? That's the obvious thing to do here. Come on, Kim. Kim would be like, yes, I will support this. This is a good thing you're doing.
The lieutenant looks at his blue notebook. 2 fat, shiny pens hang from the binder, like large caliber bullets on an ammo belt.
He's concerned about giving me his backup because what if I lose it? Ocelot's not the most trustworthy person with stuff right now, but I think he might do it as long as I give it back.
It's downright incriminating. He has little choice but to give you one, although he really does not want to.
Oh no, he's gonna be really sad, but he can't actually hold this against me.
He is not really saying anything, just standing there, looking at them.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, Kim really likes his shiny toys. He really likes his shiny toys so much. So I can say, you have to give one to me, right? That is how human society works, I believe. Or, can I have one? Or, fine, I'll just use this crappy pencil. I will use this crappy pencil because I already made him get rid of his shiny spinny things. He should give me a pen. I should have a pen. It would be good to have a pen, but I can try the pencil. Or I could ask, can I have one? Like, this line is funny. One is funny and I like it. I feel uncomfortable pressuring people to do things. The thing is, if it's pencil, it might actually smudge. It might actually, like, get erased. This might cause repercussions down the line. Like, there could actually be gameplay repercussions for not asking for the pen. Yeah, it's for the case. You've got to. I'll try to give it back, Kim. All right, let's ask Kim. We're going to sacrifice some Kim friendship points for hopefully having functional notes at some point if we need them later. Because also pencil can be erased, but pen cannot be so easily. So like let's try for something safe. Okay, I'm going to go with can I have one?
Know that I give this to you with resentment.
That's funny. Okay, that's fine. At this point, we're like peers. This feels okay. With this beauty, commit to paper.
The tasks you've completed flow out of the blue oblong pen in a brash freehand, uncannily similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple. A language developed for mental rigor and simplicity.
I love forgetting that it's your handwriting and then going to write and being uncomfortable, like kind of noticing that the handwriting that you're writing matches the handwriting of these other things you don't remind writing. That's really interesting. Or don't remember writing.
Inspect the victim's body. Get the body down. Interview the cafeteria manager.
Ah! Look at what they're doing! Do you see what they're doing? Oh! Very clever.
It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be out of place.
Cross out the ones you've already finished.
A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you, and you.
Very satisfying. It is very satisfying to check things off a list. If only I could consistently remember that lists exist, but alas.
Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that remains is to name the case.
That is a good question. Lieutenant, have you by any chance named our case?
No, actually. Any ideas?
The Hanged Man. The Furies are at home in the mirror. The Setting Sun. Shit on a Stick. Or actually, I don't have one. The Hanged Man actually is canonical. That is totally canonical. The Furies are at home in the mirror was the original title for the game. Oh man. That is not a name I understand. I'm familiar with the Furies, and I assume that this is something about like you look... No Truce with the Furies. Okay. I mean, Disco Elysium is catchy, it's interesting, it's memorable, it's not overlong, but it is also confusing. No Truce with the Furies. It's from a poem. Oh, my nemesis. Poetry. I have always had a hard time with poetry unless it's sufficiently concrete. Oh man, unfortunate. All right. No, so the Hanged Man is in fact a tarot card, not just a man hanging. But the Hanged Man has, I'm going to read for you what the Hanged Man, did I already do this? Did I already read you the definition of the tarot card? I don't know if I have. I literally don't remember. Neither Ocelot nor I remember anything. This is an unfortunate reality. So Biddy Tarot is my favorite of the tarot websites. It's a very useful resource. So upright, it is pause, surrender, letting go, new perspectives. Reversed, delays, resistance, stalling, indecision. The Hanged Man hold on. Reminds you that sometimes you have to put everything on hold before you can take the next step, or the universe will do it on your behalf, and it may not always be at the most convenient time. You may have heard the saying, what got you here won't get you there, and that indeed is at play in this card. The Hanged Man calls you to release the old mental models and behavioral patterns that no longer serve you, so you can see your world from a new perspective and embrace new opportunities that would have otherwise been hidden from you if you didn't hit the brakes. Here's the thing. These pauses can be voluntary or involuntary. If you're in tune with your intuition, you'll start to have a sense for when it's time to hit the brakes and put things on hold before things get out of hand. But if you're out of alignment and oblivious to those intuitive signs, the universe will probably put things on hold for you in the form of continued obstacles, ill health, and breakdowns. When you sense the pause coming, pay attention to it. Otherwise, the universe will turn up the volume until you can't ignore it any longer. When the Hanged Man appears in a tarot reading, your projects and activities may be coming to an unexpected and abrupt halt. Don't keep pushing forward, hoping that more force will drive you to where you want to go. Instead, surrender, it's a card of surrender, to the opportunity to pause and view it as your chance to reassess and reevaluate where you are on your path. Something new is emerging, and you won't be able to see it unless you allow the time and space for it to come through. The Hanged Man is your invitation to welcome these pauses with open arms and surrender to the what is, even if it is different than what you expected. The Hanged Man can sometimes reflect that you are feeling stuck or restricted in your life. It is a card that basically says, like, the path that you're on right now is not going to get you anywhere, and if you don't stop yourself, you're going to be stopped by the universe, and you're not going to be able to continue. You cannot continue as you are. You're going to have to change. It's a very fitting title. It's more than just the man is being hanged. The Hanged Man reversed shows that you need to hit the pause button, but you're resisting it. Instead, you fill your days with tasks and projects, keeping busy and distracting yourself from the actual issue that needs your attention. Your spirit and body are asking you to slow down, but your mind keeps racing. Stop and rest before it's too late. The universe will only dial up the volume if you ignore it, and as a result, you may end up crashing. So it's funny. And this is just one particular site's description of that card, but it is an appropriate card, not for the man in the tree, but also for Ocelot himself, right? Do you see why I wanted to read that to you? I like tarot. I have several tarot decks. They're a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do a streamiversary stream. It is now past 1 month. Or like over a month past my streamiversary, but I did not have the health to do so in July. So I've been thinking about doing it sometime this month if I've got time. Then I was going to do a concert for part of it, and then I was going to do some tarot readings, because I love doing tarot readings on stream. They're so much fun. So if you want to see me dig into tarot and help people through their life problems, tune in. We'll do that at some point. It's great fun. Anyway, we're going to choose the Hanged Man, because that's the correct answer, according to me. On multiple levels that I suspect they know. I suspect that they are aware of this. Let's pick it.
Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hanged Man. Good, strong name. We have a very good name for the case now.
It's very solid. It's literal. It works on multiple levels and also addresses my personal problems.
I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
I'm glad. That's very important. Good job. I think you would have complained if I picked the poetry one. All right, I'm done inspecting these. Close the case
You
files.
don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now.
Let's browse the yellow papers, shall we?
In the back, you see thin, translucent copy paper. Some neon yellow, some bright red, all covered in boxes, like marching armies. These look like official forms, waiting to be filled out.
All right.
Then rip them from the binder and hand them out, according to type of form.
Interesting. Back in a time when we didn't have everything be computerized. What types of forms are there?
3. The topmost are misconduct fines. The middle ones are station calls. And the bottommost are field autopsy forms. Each is easy enough to make sense of.
Oh no, misconduct fines. Okay, well, Kim and I had better not fine each other for misconduct. I bet I've had misconduct fines before. I bet I've made mistakes. I bet there's a big one for losing your badge and an even bigger one for losing your gun would be my guess. And I'm on the hook for both of those. Yay! Good times. Station calls. I guess I should probably document those. Misconduct is Ocelot's drag name. Maybe so. That's not a bad one. That's not a bad one. Oh, fines to give to regular people. Okay, never mind. Of course. Cops hold themselves accountable? What was I thinking? What was I thinking?
You don't have to be an intellectual giant to do police work.
Thanks, conceptualization. All right, misconduct fine.
A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. Severe cases allow for 1,000 real, but that requires special paperwork. The details of issuing these fines are spread out over the rest of the fields.
I guess you could probably be a corrupt cop and give people these things and pocket some of the money.
But they appear pleasantly vague.
Yeah. Station call.
These are quite sinister in turn. They give a date and time for the person to appear at the specified precinct police station. Below the call are the criminal charges you risk by not appearing.
Okay, so that's not where I document that I've called my station. That is telling people that they've been summoned. Excellent. Good times. Okay, I'm clearly not cut out to be a cop because I just don't think oppositionally enough. I don't think about how could I possibly screw over other people for the betterment of me and my small community of fellow cops. Field autopsy, that's the one that's relevant to this case.
A dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters of a deceased human form waiting to be filled in. Age, sex, condition of internal organs.
Well, I shot the belly. It was bad. It's not the worst thing to happen to this guy, but it's definitely not great. They're gonna not like that. Enough of these closed forms.
Yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. Fines for wrongdoers, interview requests for bad guys, and field autopsies to dead guys.
Yeah, I know that cops have quotas for fines. That's why it is really, really bad idea to speed towards the end of the month because they are trying to get their quotas in for speeding tickets and they will be more cautious and they will be setting up speed traps and things to try to catch you. So, not ideal.
The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. Being sandwiched between the board and the rest of the paperwork must have spared the fragile copier paper.
Well, that's good to know. Let's take a look at the clipboard.
It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with.
Excuse me?
The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back, you see the embossed letters, RCM.
So, I don't know that U4 is a standard sizing system in the real world. I know that there are page sizes that have numbers and letters, but I don't think that U is the letter that goes with it. So I think that that's a slight difference. So I can say, what did you say the color was? I mean, it's dark blue. Why is he questioning that? I don't know. Let's find out. Why is he questioning that? And yes, the idea of cops having to meet quotas for tickets is horrid. Police departments getting funding by fining the people around them is terrible. It's a really bad system. But I mean, to be fair, like the entire police system is pretty fucked up from the ground up. Like from the founding to today, it was built on a pretty vile foundation. So I could go into this in more detail, but I will spare you. I think most of us are on the same page. Kim is a good cop. Well, no. As cops go, Kim is a good cop. And Kim is a generally good person, but he definitely has some of the shortcomings that cops do. which is interesting. And I'm glad they did that. It keeps him more human and it keeps him from being too idealized, if that makes sense. Good cop derogatory. Let's see. What did you say the color was?
Blue.
Why did I need to point that out again?
The blue heart. Don't look into it.
Well, I wasn't going to Inland Empire. But now that you've pointed it out, I'm going to keep an ear out. Actually, no, I'm probably just going to forget that this ever happened and not be able to. So, all right, shake the ledger.
Something rattles inside, ever so lightly. Is there a hidden compartment?
Interesting. What have I put there? I hope it's not my drugs. If it is, I'm going to have to... I'm glad I don't have electrochemistry. I'm going to give it to Kim and be like, please make sure I don't take this.
Permeables. It's not hidden per se. The compartment is made for permeable materials that would get damaged if something happened to it.
Let's peek inside.
The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot see to its center.
There's probably a thing that you could get if you were observant enough, but I'm not. So, how would I open it?
With your hands, you 4-sized pages hang from the clip, screwed to the top of the board.
All right. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I think I was right. I think I was correct. I think that this man may have stored his drugs in his clipboard. Maybe not, but I am concerned. We'll see. We'll mess around with things later. I don't think I want to smell the ledger. I'm pretty sure that's going to cause damage to me. I want to look at this. Kim explains the system. I have a pretty high likelihood of this. We're going to put the ledger away. We're going to save. And then we're going to try a little bit more. Oh, I can't because it's quick saving. Excuse you. All right, here we go. So I don't mean to be rude to my game system. See, this is why I'm the story cop. Okay, how many points do I have now? I have 2 skill points and I'm halfway to my next level. Yay! All right, so I could put another point in rhetoric if I wanted to. All right. So interfacing makes sense that that's picking locks and pockets and opening things. Okay, yeah, so that's how things work. All right. However, thought. So, Lonesome Long Way Home. He does not want to see what he... On some subconscious level, he knows what's inside, and he doesn't want to look at it. So it is possible that it's going to be something like divorce papers or something like that, where it's just personal stuff that he's put in a safe place that he doesn't have to look at. But it's also possible that his drugs or something are in there. That's possible too. I don't know. Then again, he wouldn't be as scared of opening it if the drugs were in there, unless it's specific to the fact that I told the drugs I wasn't going to do them earlier today. It's possible. It's possible. Rigorous self-critique. Oh, let's look at that. -1 authority, embarrassment to the party. You're one sorry piece of shit. A cop penitent, a flagellant cop monk. This is not the right line of work for you. You should be groveling at the feet of a feudal lord, providing lurid evidence against yourself at a Mazovian show trial, or ripping the flesh from your back with a cat of 9 tails. God, that's vivid. Whatever made you this way, you can be damn sure it was your own fault. Do it. Really criticize yourself. Who knows? You might uncover something of importance from your guilt-ridden past. Oh, I don't know if I want to do that one. I don't know if I want to do that one. I don't know if I do. Yeah, it's probably not drugs. It's probably not drugs. My guess is that it's something to do with the lost wife. We don't know 100% what happened to her or that they were married. I don't think it's been confirmed, but we know that there was a she. And I think that oh, here's my pen. I could sell it. A blue pen like a large caliber bullet that shoots out ink. Once belonging to Lieutenant Kisaragi, comes with a side order of resentment. Yes, okay, he'll forgive me. Yeah, the X something. So I suspect it's something to do with that. And that's the reason why he threw... Maybe he tried to open it to get the thing that he wanted, that he doesn't want to look at, to throw that away, and he couldn't open it, so he just threw the entire thing away. That's the sort of thing that I could see him doing. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy, buddy, buddy. Let us see what happens if we put on our interfacing clothes. You're interfacing. Do I have anything else that's interfacing? I don't think I do. Yeah, these are the bad news ones, electrochemistry, but okay, interfacing. I've got bye-bye bugs. All right, it's still probably not going to be enough to do any good, but let us interact with our damaged ledger again.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. Oh, and the cool piece of toilet paper is stuck to the back.
Okay, so my interfacing gloves have made it so that I have an even opportunity to open the hidden compartment. I can also try to read this. Okay, I hope you don't mind, folks. I'm doing this. I should probably stop for the night, but I want to kind of proceed onward a little bit. Let's smell the ledger. This is probably a bad idea. And we'll inspect the toilet paper. I'm expecting that at least one of these is going to do damage to me. So let's see.
The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself, and then sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaner.
They really have fun describing disgusting things as floweryly as they can. It's really fancy. Which, like, I'm all about purple prose, but I think it is funny. I feel like they let themselves be more purple when describing things that are gross or horrifying. Oh, spoiler, chat is discussing something. Okay. I'm going to inspect the toilet paper in the meantime, because I suspect that's not actually important either. So we'll see. But we did just save, just in case.
It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want.
I can either take it off, leave it there, it's cool. Maybe it's kitchen tissue. They look exactly the same.
If you want it to be kitchen tissue, it can be kitchen tissue.
That's fair.
It's not, though. It's toilet paper.
Let's take it off. This might be a bad idea.
Still wet, the toilet paper, kitchen tissue, peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off your finger, and voila, the ledger now looks marginally better.
Amazing. Good job. I don't know why I got experience for taking the toilet paper off of that, but I did, so I'll take it. I do not get points for having removed the toilet paper from that. Chrono, is there content that you're afraid will upset me? Is that what the issue is? Like, are we at risk of coming up on one of Lauren's topics that we're uncomfortable with? That's what I assume is going on, because that's a thing that I have requested to be alerted about. And this is specifically a question to Chrono, so if everybody else can sit tight. I know that if you know if something's going on, you're probably all like vibrating with wanting to say something, but go ahead and say it here if you don't mind. If that's all right, or at least confirm that yes or no. Because if something's going to actually require a private conversation, I'd rather have that conversation not while I'm on stream. If it's more like digging into this sort of thing is a really big thing that's going to take a lot of time that maybe we should postpone. That's possible, because it feels like reading the case files or opening the clipboard. Like, opening the clipboard seems significant. Reading the case files seems like it might take a long time. I don't know. They've kind of indicated that you should read the case files, like, later, when you've had some time. And that's probably the better idea. And I suspect that whatever is inside the clipboard is actually a really big deal. Like I said, I suspect it has something to do with this X. So we'll put the ledger away. So we can go ahead and put that off until later. And then we can... I don't think there's anything else out here besides talking to Kuno about having lied to me. Apparently, we are concerned about this, which is fair. It's the call me manana guy, pointed out. But I feel like any of that, like things like that, are going to be more detailed, or potentially more detailed than what I want to go into right now. And I'm actually feeling a bit tired, which makes sense because it's right about the right time for me to stop. So I will go ahead and hold off on doing those things so that we're not here for like another hour, which has us ending around the right time. I don't really want to know gameplay related issues if it's going to change the game, unless I'm about to like do something that the game super doesn't expect me to do and I'm going to break things or something like that. Then maybe flagging. But if it's just like, oh, that's a suboptimal way of playing the game, that's fine. I'm already playing the game suboptimally. So I'm not worried about that. But I think I'm going to stop here. Because we've got a bunch of things that are interesting that we could dig into. We managed to get some interesting stuff that I didn't think we were going to. Like, I had forgotten about the fact that there was something that I was scared of, or that Ocelot was scared of in the dumpster. Or I might have thought, oh, there'd be something really interesting in there. We're getting a little bit of progress with the mystery. And we have maybe opportunities to see more about Ocelot's problems, his mysterious past. And we found a racist mug, which is an interesting thing to put in the game. But I guess it's to unlock... You know, I wonder if there's going to be a bunch of items like that you have the option to interact with, solely so you can pick a dialogue option that's like a healing item. You know, if you pick the dialogue option that is in line with your philosophy, your character's philosophy at that point, then it's like a free heal. I wonder if that's a gameplay mechanic they're going to do from now on. And so I suppose in a way the racist mug indicated to me that that's a thing. Which would make sense actually, because those different options, now that I think about it, were like moralism, I guess communism, I guess one of them must have been fascism, and then one of them was definitely capitalism. I don't know. But I also don't know what all of the options that you can align yourself with. Build a cop the game, yes. No, I'm the sorry cop, and I'm okay with that. We'll see if we can see if we can multi-class later. No, there's some interesting stuff here. And I do like that Kim continues to be a likable but flawed character. Like, he's very much his own person. You know, I know that everybody loves him, and he's very nice and gentle and kind, and you need a friend, and he shows up and he's your friend. And he's pleasant, and he does have a good heart as far as we can tell. But, you know, he is a cop. He is a flawed person. He doesn't like to have to share things. He likes having his fancy, shiny things. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm enjoying kind of getting to figure him out a bit. Like, of course he has fancy pens that are so nice he doesn't want to lend one to me. You know? It's not just that Ocelot is unreliable. It's that Kim likes to have shiny things and hoard them. But yeah, so I don't know that I have anything particularly interesting to say as a closing thought here. We will eventually, I guess, have to go talk to Measurehead if we're going to get Measurehead to help us take the body down, which is a thing we have to do. Yeah, no, Kim's quirks make him human, and that makes him more interesting. It does mean that I don't just, like, unreservedly love him the way I think some people do, because he's not a cinnamon roll. You know, cinnamon roll characters you can love unreservedly. But Kim's flaws are more unlikable because I don't particularly like cops, and he has, like, some mixed in selfishness. He has some, like, in-group, out-group, like, tension. He has things like that. Like, the grumpiness is fine. That's kind of adorable. His not wanting to share things is like that is adorable. But these other flaws that he has are a bit uncomfortable. Having those attributes in somebody that we are drawn to and that we are absolutely inclined to like. The game is set up to make us like him. It expects us to like him, and we do. Most people love him. But then they give him unlikable flaws. It's great. It's nice. It's interesting. It's a decision. It's a very Disco Elysium decision. That's very fitting with the way that they do things. I'm going to continue to uncomfortably not roleplay Ocelot consistently. He's going to continue to be a hot mess of sometimes roleplayed, sometimes Lauren picks options, etc., etc. But I think that's all right. I don't think this is... I mean, I'm sure there's like a way to perfect play through this game, but I don't have the right brain for it, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to do it this way and have some fun. Yeah, well, the characters are well written. I don't always get where they're coming from or what they're doing, but he's good. They're interesting. Well, even Lena isn't quite a cinnamon roll because her personality, some of her personality has been subsumed by her husband's fanaticism in a way. And that's not her own. So if you poke at it, it's a soft spot. It's a weak spot where like, it's kind of like a carpet covering like a hole in the floor. And she does not like it when you poke at that. Which is interesting. It definitely makes her an interesting character, and it is very, very plausible. I've known people like that before. But I think it does keep her, even her, from being a cinnamon roll. That's the cryptozoologist's wife, right? Like, she is very sweet. Maybe the sweetest character that we've seen so far. But, I mean, I guess, if we're going to have a cinnamon roll, it's going to be the little girl in the bookshop. She's our cinnamon roll. She's the only one so far. And she's a poor abused little girl. So her situation is sad. But I really like her. And she gave me a hat as a symbol of friendship. Thereby, for like permanently like securing her position as the cinnamon roll of Disco Elysium. I don't know about Tommy. Tommy might be a smuggler. I'm afraid to go talk to Tommy because I'm supposed to interrogate about the smuggling, and I'm concerned that Tommy's going to be a smuggler and I might have to turn him in or consciously make the decision to not turn him in and cause a mess. But I'll probably do that. Eventually. I'll probably talk to him about that. Tommy's really likable. I like him a lot. And it would be interesting. And if he is a smuggler, then I kind of wonder, because he's so sympathetic, is he going to kind of have like sort of like Robin Hood vibes to his smuggling? Not that he's literally smuggling to help people, like smuggling good things in to help people, but that there's something more sympathetic, like if it's like, oh, well, this will help me take care of the people who are important to me or something like that, that humanizes it more than just, well, I want to make money, I got to get ahead in this world. We'll see. It's a mystery. So we'll see whether he has cinnamon roll potential, but I think Annette is our cinnamon roll for the game. I should go say hello to her and her mother. Maybe there's somebody new in there or something else I can check out. Maybe I'll have enough money left over to get a map. A real map. That would be exciting. Yeah, so we've got things to do next time. We'll go talk to townspeople some more. We'll take a look at our case descriptions, and dig into that stuff, and see what happens. Maybe it'll make me have to solve some things. Maybe I'm gonna have a logic problem if I open up my cases. That would be exciting. I love logic problems. I'm not terrible at them. I can be good at them. It's just that my brain will sometimes make a couple of steps of assumptions that it shouldn't along the way, which is where some of my mini golfing comes in, where I extrapolate, and then I somehow my brain files the extrapolation as though it's truth, and then starts building on top of it, which is sometimes a good idea and sometimes not. That's right, we could talk to Joyce. I think I want to put off getting Measurehead for a little while later and kind of do some of the lower stakes conversations, because that feels like that's plot. And I can't progress the plot too fast. That'd be unthinkable. But probably we'll have time next stream to then do that and do some plot progression. So there's our goal. Next week we'll talk to people, we'll dig into our cases, and maybe we'll get Measurehead to move the body. That'll be really interesting. Yeah. So before you all sign off, I'm going to continue. I have no interruptions, no anticipated interruptions of my Thursday streams for the foreseeable future. I will be taking a Tuesday off, a week from this Tuesday, from Thousand Year Door. But your consolation prize is that the Undertale Deltarune video essay should be done by then. So if you want to see my first video essay, I'll put it up on YouTube probably that Monday. I'm really nervous about it because it's new and exciting and scary, and I've never done that sort of thing before. But that's my goal. I'm working towards it. And hopefully sometimes the dumpster's a whole stream. There, I was taking some screen grabs of the dumpster section in Deltarune actually today. Yeah. So look forward to that if you like that. If I feel good about it and it goes well and I think I can do it again and folks think it's interesting, the next one I'm going to do is probably going to be a Dark Souls one. And then I've got a few other plans. I've been trying to think of what I can do from Night in the Woods just because I think it would piss Scott Benson off in a way that I think would be really funny. The contrary part of me wants to do a literary analysis of something in Night in the Woods so that Scott Benson will be like, really? And I'll be like, so if that happens, that happens. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. And maybe there'll be some music coming up. Yeah, I think that's everything so far. Thank you so much. If you like this and you want to see more of this will be continuing Thursdays, 7 till 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, whichever one we're in right now. Yeah, so I'm going to shut down so I can go give my cat some attention because she's been a good girl. And then I'm going to probably work on the video essay some more. Take care. I'm so glad you could all be here. Be good and have a wonderful evening. Bye.